Hello and welcome to Madison, Wisconsin and Camp Randall Stadium for another presentation of WCBN Sports' coverage of Michigan football. We've got about 9 minutes to kick off, and so doing our pregame show here today, myself, Alex Strain, joined by Lucas Vargas, will hand it off to Daniel Thompson and Andrew Miller for the first half in about 8 minutes' time. But just did the national anthem. Bucky Badger getting driven out onto the field in a cart right now as the Wisconsin marching band performs for this crowd. But big game today, top 25 matchup. What are you looking for?
Big game today, a lot of preparation being done by both teams, each having a bye week coming into this one. I mean, Wisconsin's got the numbers that stand out right now, not allowing a single point all season long, outscoring opponents 110-0 in 2 games now. Those games were against South Florida and Central Michigan, so, you know, a lot to be determined about the Badgers, but Michigan's got to display a new offense against a defense that has shown that it can be really good. And on the road, it could be a tough test.
Yeah, this is a story of 2 teams that have really had different results through these first 2 weeks. Michigan had a kind of an up and down first week, and then followed by a game against Army in which it went to double overtime. Michigan had to dodge a last-second field goal attempt in regulation to then to go to overtime and then get that fumble at the end. So that's something to watch in this one, how these 2 teams approach it. New scheme for Michigan. It's the old faithful for Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, they're going to do exactly what they do and exactly what their culture relies on, and that's running the football. They do have a little bit of a revamped passing game with Jack Cohn at quarterback. Seen Alex Hornibrook the past couple of years, but it still goes through Jonathan Taylor and the big boys up front. That's what Wisconsin football is all about. It's what it's always been about, and that's what it's going to be for Michigan. They're going to have to stop the run. And, you know, on the other side of the ball, Wisconsin's got their own big boys too. And Michigan's going to have to find a way to protect the quarterback. It's been an issue the last couple of weeks with fumbles, especially at the quarterback position. And if they want to get into a rhythm offensively, it's going to be about blocking up front. Yeah,
well, a big story, of course, for Michigan being the return of John Runyon, in all likelihood, the All-Big Ten left tackle.
Missed the first starter today.
Yep, missed the first 2 weeks after they held him out, had a knee issue, but getting him back compared to Ryan Hayes, who was making his first ever college starts, that's a big boost against a team that always has a tough physical defense.
Yeah, and Wisconsin, like I mentioned earlier, has shown that they're not going to budge easily, not allowing any points yet this season, but you know, this is a game that Michigan has an opportunity to really silence a lot of criticism they've received. You and I were both at the press conference after the Army game, and you know, all the questions were, okay, well, Coach Harbaugh, why weren't you doing this? Why weren't you doing that? You know, when were we going to see that new offense? And the questions just kept going and going and going, and truthfully, it looked like Coach Harbaugh was getting a little frustrated with those questions, but you know, you get a week off, you supposedly get healthy, right? Now you have an opportunity to come out to this field in Madison, Wisconsin. It's going to be a heck of an environment here at 11 a.m. Central Time, but you got a great opportunity to open Big Ten play on the road and show what you said you were going to do. That's what it's got to be about, just doing what you said you were going to do this whole time. And if Michigan can find a way to do that, then they have a chance to compete against a pretty good Badger team.
Yeah, it's a hostile environment here. Michigan has a winning record all time in Camp Randall Stadium, but obviously Camp Randall, a very old stadium. Wisconsin really didn't turn into a powerhouse until the 90s. As they've got a montage highlight reel in the background. It is really loud in this stadium, and we've got headsets on.
Yeah, and it's still not even probably 3/4 of the way filled yet.
Yeah, they're still filing in the student section. A fair number of Michigan fans made the trip here today.
You can see the sprinkles of maize throughout the stands. They're going for the stripe design here in Madison with the red and white. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the guys on the field deciding this one, and it's a great way to start off Big Ten play for each of these teams. Great test, and Michigan, as we know, has plenty of them coming up, so it'll be a great gauge as to tell how good this team really can be.
Just about 5 minutes till kickoff. We'll hand it off in about 3 minutes' time as we get ready for the Wisconsin Badgers and Michigan Wolverines to come out onto the field. Wisconsin now number 13 in the country, Michigan number 11. Threat of weather always an issue here in Madison. And out come the Badger cheerleaders. It shows about a 60 to 70% chance of rain here between the 11 a.m. Central Standard Time hour and the 1 p.m. Central Standard Time hour, so that would be the first half. If it doesn't hit them, it doesn't look like it'll hit at all, but weather forecasts have been up and down a lot over the last little bit, so have to wait and see on that. I think these teams would both want this game to just happen normally.
I would say, though, when we've gone back and forth about this, if the rain does come in, obviously Wisconsin very comfortable just sitting back running the ball as much as they can.
Yeah.
Probably benefit the Badgers more, especially in Wisconsin here. But you and I were both at that MSU game last year where we saw the monsoon roll in. So Michigan's seen rain before, but it definitely alters football games. Sun's tried to come out a couple times, but the clouds remain very humid as well.
Yeah. As we see the players now come out onto the field. Any last thoughts before we hand it over?
So let's just see the competitive level of this game, too. I mean, you go back to that Army game for Michigan, and it felt like they were almost just trying to escape while they were at home in that game, and felt like they really took their foot off the gas pedal at times, just trying to get out of there. And, they cut it as close as they could, getting that overtime win, but there was some good competitiveness at the end by the defense to hold strong. Just want to see that competitiveness translate through an entire game and really just see them put together a complete effort, all in all, as they enter Big Ten play, because it's going to be a heck of a grind for this conference schedule.
The players coming out for the coin toss. We're going to hand it over. Lucas giving it to Andrew Miller, and I will hand mine off to Daniel Thompson. We'll be back in the second half, but enjoy the first half and hopefully no weather delays. Daniel, take it away.
Thank you, Alex and Lucas. We'll hear from you again at halftime in the second half. We are 2 minutes away from kickoff here at Camp Randall Stadium, the oldest stadium in the Big Ten. Right now we are awaiting the result of the coin toss. Looks like Kalik Hudson is among the Michigan captains. Coin is in the air. Wisconsin has won the toss. Andrew Miller, welcome to the broadcast. What do you expect to see in this game between Wisconsin and Michigan? One of many matchups here throughout the years between these two programs.
Thanks, Daniel. Always good to hear from you. I am very excited to see a lot of run-heavy game this evening. According to the weather report, that we may be expecting some rain today, so it may be nice. So the teams will have to correspond with that weather with a lot of ground movement. The speed in space offense that Josh Gaddis is going to have to react to the great defensive line that Wisconsin's put up there.
Sure is. Wisconsin winning the toss, and it will be a running battle, as you said. Of course, Jonathan Taylor, probably the best running back in the whole country, but perhaps the best true freshman in the country. I'd certainly say so at the running back position. Zach Charbonnet, there were some rumors of dubious veracity that he might not be good to go for this game. Those were untrue. He looks ready to go and should lead out the Michigan offense, as Wisconsin did the usual thing and deferred upon winning the pregame coin toss. We are 30 seconds away. Michigan, Wisconsin, Camp Randall Stadium. Where else would you rather be, Miller?
There's nowhere else I'd rather be other than maybe in the big house in Ann Arbor calling a home game. But this is great too. My dad actually is My dad is actually an alumni of the University of Wisconsin. He is here in the building with me, wishing me luck with his team of swift victory of the Michigan Wolverines, and I will be hoping for a nice victory of the Michigan Wolverines myself.
Yep, welcome to the club. My father, also an alum of the Wisconsin Badgers, not here today, but he received his PhD in agricultural economics from the Wisconsin in 1991, I want to say. But
interesting. My dad, I think, graduated in 1993 in a bachelor's in business after he switched out of pre-med.
So they probably crossed paths here in Madison.
They could have met.
Michigan is ready to kick things off here. We will see the Badger offense actually. Kick is underway and going to land just beyond the goal line. Hits the end here in the end zone. And despite Michigan's offense taking the field for a minute there, looking like they're ready to take the field, it is Wisconsin who will be taking over. They accepted after winning the coin toss, so Michigan will receive in the second half. Jack Cohn is the new Badger quarterback. 5 touchdowns, 564 yards, and 76% passing against USF and Central Michigan to start the year. he was able to beat out Alex Hornibrook in a quarterback competition and sent him packing to Tallahassee, where he is now at Florida State playing for Willie Taggart. Badgers line up. Taylor is the single back. Bring a man in motion. It's a low snap, and it's going to be a QB keeper. Not sure if it was designed that way, but Uche gets into the backfield. We'll call that a no gain. Might have been a loss of maybe a foot or two. That looked like a botch play, low snap, and then I think Cohen misread which side of him Jonathan Taylor was going to run to.
Yeah, clearly. The Michigan defensive line was able to read that play real quick, and you're right. I did not look as though the Wisconsin Badgers intended for that QB keep, but good on Michigan for keeping the play alive.
Yep, looked like the defense was actually one step ahead of the quarterback on that one. Taylor scoots out to Cohen's right. Bring a man in motion. And it's going to be a give to Taylor, who has a small gap to exploit and gets forward for a respectable 8-yard gain. It will be 3rd and short coming up, and that is what Wisconsin likes to do. One more run like that, and they'll be well beyond the sticks.
Yeah, I mean, you can see if you're watching the broadcast, you can see Briata's having a great block upside. His ability to get a quick read block after he snaps the ball is actually really impressive. That's why it'll be a potential first-round pick this upcoming NFL draft season.
Yep, 3rd and 3. Here we go. Wisconsin sends a man in motion. They're going to drop back to pass. Already pressure in the backfield. The Cohen escapes, dives forward, and picks up the first down. Had it about a yard to get there. Our own Alex Drain is trying to wave it off, and the referees are spotting him much shorter than the crowd, and I thought. They're going to measure this one, I think, but he looks just a hair short.
Great, and reaction was a great reaction by the quarterback to get through that. The play was blown up very early, and great move by the quarterback to at least get some positive yards and at least give them a chance for the first down.
Yep, Josh Ross was the man who chased him down. Cohen dove forward. This one's going to be reviewed, but it is so hard to change the spot on a ball because it's right by the first down marker. That might give the Badgers some help here, maybe overturning it. When I saw it live, it sure looked to me like he got it, but Alex Drain, he knew immediately that looked short. Miller, what do you think about this one?
It looked to me like he got the first down, but live in person, it does look like he dove farther, and we are not privy to the benefits of replay in the stadium, so it looked like he was flying, but his knee may have been down a little early.
Well, I think he got it looking at the replay on the big board, but it's going to be so close. I'm not sure if they can overturn this one. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow for Badger fans here. It looked like 2 blown up plays on 3 drives. I don't think that was designed to be a keeper, but Michigan got to the backfield so quickly, Cohen had no choice but to look down the field and run. And the play stands as called.
Wow. Well, that shows that's incredible because this reminds me a lot of like the Ohio State call where it looked pretty much like he was short in the opposite kind of way. But it's good to see. But Michigan Wolverines now will be
and Wisconsin sends out their offense. You have to think Wisconsin has, what, a 90% chance to pick one up like this? Their offensive line, they live for these situations. It's a school when Russell Wilson or J.J. Watt is in here. The offensive linemen are the stars of the team. Tyler Biadish, an expected first-round pick.
And you dance with the girl that brought you, and their girl that brought you is the offensive line.
7 men on the line. Taylor easily finds the gap, and that was the right call. Wisconsin knows their team. They knew their personnel, and they didn't play scared with the number 11 team in the country coming into Madison. They're playing to win. 3 minutes into the first half, they go for it. And Jonathan Taylor, he's a Heisman caliber player. He's got to get you those yards. He does so, no problem. 2.5-yard gain, and it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 37. The Badgers with a hard-fought first down to open up this game. I formation now, and for the first time since that last play, we're seeing Cohen under center. Sends a man to his right. Michigan got to the backfield early, but couldn't bring down the ball carrier. There's a flag that flies after a 5-yard gain from Taylor. We'll see what the call is here. Looked like maybe Carlo Kemp got into the backfield right away. Preliminary signal is a personal foul, hands to the face against Michigan. Couldn't get off the field on that 4th down play. Commit a personal foul, and that's going to really move the ball here into Michigan territory.
Yeah, a play that was already broken. It looked like Michigan was already being beaten up by the Wisconsin offensive line really early. I mean, when you're going against the strength of that Badger team, you got to bring a little bit more guys. They know they're going to Jonathan Taylor. You have to let Jack Crone beat you in the air.
Yep, Michigan, however, chose to not make anyone on the Badgers beat them, commits a personal foul. Now 1st and 10 from the Michigan 42-yard line for the Badgers. two tight end set, send them in motion. They've got an extra lineman to the right. Taylor keeps it, tries to go right down the middle, runs into a wall of Wolverines, pops out though, and he has grass in front of him. Michigan chasing him down to the 25 and out of bounds at the 23-yard line. That's just a great play by Taylor. His offensive line got beat, but he kept his head up and saw there was a wide opening down the right sideline, got to the hole, and turned it into a big gain. 1st and 10 from the 24 coming up.
That's four straight run attempts by Wisconsin, getting pretty much halfway through the field. Michigan's got to get better at stopping the run, and it helped Corum beat him through the air.
Yep, Jonathan Taylor has 34 rushing yards. Cohen has 2. No passing attempts yet from the Badgers. There was one design passing play that got blown up. Here we go, I formation. Sending the tight end in motion. Give it to Taylor, going to the left, and he is met immediately. Carlo Kemp on the assist. And it was Watson, actually, who kept the ball on that one. Josh Ross made the tackle, along with Carlo Kemp helping bring him down. So it'll be 2nd and 8 here as the Badgers spread the ball around for the first time today with a designed run.
A surprising lack of blitz pressure so far from the Michigan Wolverines. Don Brown has been famous for using his blitz packages, so I'm interested to see how he goes that forward.
And Wisconsin spreading it out now. Only a fullback in the backfield and 3 wide receivers wide. Bring a man in motion, going to the right now. Cohen's going to drop back, fires to the man, completes it for a medium gain, and it's going to be 3rd and short. This should be 3rd and 2 as Jacobs is the receiver and gets the modest gain.
That was just good movement by Jacobs, getting in front of the cornerback. He was perfectly covered. The defense was a disguised blitz. Perfect throw.
And that is Danny Davis. My apologies, misheard the PA announcer here. Don't know how I got Jacobs out of Davis, but doesn't change the fact it's 3rd and 3. Wisconsin is 0 for 1 on 3rd down conversions so far, but they still picked up the 4th. They're in the red zone now. 3rd and 3 from the 17. Still no Jonathan Taylor. It's a give to Taylor, who's wide open, makes a cut, and is able to be brought down at the 3-yard line. My bad, misread the runner there, but Taylor gets out to the 3-yard line, and this Wisconsin running game is going to be difficult to stop.
Yet again, another huge hole for Taylor just to play with once he gets there. Michigan was nowhere near him when he had a good lane to get there, and he got an extra couple of yards because of it.
Brad Hawkins and Khaleke Hudson had to team up to tackle him. Taylor ran through a Wolverine on the way to the 3. He is going to be difficult to stop today. Michigan just has to tackle better because right now Taylor is turning 5-yard gains into 15 and 1-yard gains into 20. Taylor, the lone back, heavy formation, and he is swallowed up and nowhere to go here. Might have gained a yard on that one. Took forever to go down, but there was just a wall of Michigan defenders there to meet him.
I mean, this is the red zone. Teams do not being inside the 10 is completely different than being inside the 20. It is basically an island out there. Michigan knows where they're going. They're going to Taylor, and if they don't stop them now, they're going to be setting the tone the whole game.
Yep, you would love to force Jack Cohn to throw here from the 2-yard line, but I think Wisconsin feels confident. They have 7 linemen and 2 H-backs right behind the left guard and left tackle to try to get some push here. It's a give to Taylor, who is hit at the end zone, spins around, though, and falls forward in. Landed on Levert Hill and stuck the ball forward for a Wisconsin touchdown. 8:54 to play in the first, and the Badgers are up 6-0.
Not a great call if you can see the Michigan defense that they just basically let Jonathan Taylor run all the way to the end zone. That was about a 75 yards, almost exclusively getting by Taylor in the last 7 plays.
Yep, Nakia Watson had a 2-yard carry, and Crone had a 2-yard carry. Outside of that, 7 gives to Taylor for 51 yards and a touchdown. That's over 7 yards a clip, and that's going to work all day, every day. There are about 4 Michigan Wolverines there to get pressure on Taylor, but he's such a versatile and strong back. He just spun around, refused to go down until he landed in the end zone.
Also, great lead blocked by John Seltzer, the right guard from Wisconsin. Got right up, one of the first guys out the snap, got enough leverage for Taylor. There was no one to meet him there when they got him there, so it was easy for Taylor to run that right in.
This is the ultimate Wisconsin team. They have 5 starting linemen, all from the state of Wisconsin. The 3 next backups on the depth chart are from Wisconsin, then 2 from Michigan, actually. This is a program that, I mean, we all know how to do it with offensive linemen. Half the All-Pros in the NFL of the offensive line come from Wisconsin. They've got the Dairy Farms, and they raise offensive linemen. But, looking at the replay now, it looks like Jonathan Taylor's left elbow may have landed before he got the ball over the goal line. I think this one's getting overturned. What about you, Miller?
I think so too. I think they're going to get it like third inches. That's still probably one, if not more, two more chances for Taylor to run it in. And Michigan has shown no capability of being able to stop him in short yardage.
Ultimately, I think this will amount in a touchdown either way for the Badgers. However, don't forget that Air Force game, Army game rather, from 2 weeks ago. It looked like a touchdown was inevitable for the Black Knights, but they committed a false start at the goal line. That forced them to throw, and then Lavert Hill scooped the game-changing interception and wiped out what should have been a 21-7 Army lead.
Well, of course, that was Army. This is a completely different animal here. As well-coached as Army tends to be and well-disciplined, you got monsters on the offensive line with Wisconsin over there. It's a completely different animal. You're basically they don't have to get the jump on you because they're just bigger and stronger than you to push Donovan Taylor in.
That is certainly true, but the lesson of the story is here, never give up. If it's 3rd and goal from the 1 against perhaps the best rushing team in the country, go out there, something may happen in your favor. A bot snap, a false start, offensive holding. Something could happen that could breathe new life into your defensive stand. They still have yet to make a decision on this one, which makes me think that's beneficial for the Wolverines. To me, it really did look like that elbow hit the ground before Taylor stuck the ball over the plane of the goal line.
Much more than it was last time. You could not tell the difference between you were not given enough information to redo this, but every touchdown is reviewable by NCAA rules, so you are looking at a situation.
Here comes the call. And it is changed. Taylor was short, and Michigan is fortunate. When it comes to spots, usually there's someone obscuring the ball or the line or the ball carrier, and you can't tell. But there was a wide gap where you could see exactly what happened, and you could see Taylor's elbow hit the ground before the ball was extended over the end zone.
Exactly, and now it's on the Michigan Wolverines to stop Jonathan Taylor twice, or be ready for any trick play that the Wisconsin Badgers throw their way.
Yeah, I don't think Wisconsin's a team that's going to run the Philly special from the goal line.
Not the Philly special, but they might. You don't know. They know that Michigan knows that if they have to go attack Taylor, this might be the perfect opportunity for them to do a little trickery.
And that's a pretty favorable spot for Michigan, too. It's basically all the way back to the 1 yard line. That elbow definitely landed early. It's the exact same formation as last time. 7 linemen, 2 extra fullbacks. Taylor stuffed, and I don't know if he got it. It's going to be another close call. I would hate to be these refs right now. And they give it to Wisconsin. And a huge pile of men that would make this one very difficult to overturn. Wisconsin does get it, so 6 minutes, 25 seconds into this one. Wisconsin gets it in from 3rd and goal from the 1.
I would like to see the replay on this real quick because I am not certain he got touchdown there. Matt couldn't even see him on the field right there.
He ran into a wall, and this might not be a great call, but it's hard to judge the refs for this one. This was just Taylor running into a wall, trying to get as much push before the play was blown dead. Didn't look like he was going anywhere, but he might have the wall he ran into might have been just over the end zone. Looks like they already gave him the go-ahead. They're going to kick this extra point and dot the I here. 6-0 Badgers. And the snap is underway. Kick is up. Kick is through the uprights. 7-0 Wisconsin. There were some scares. Michigan had some chances, but this team is too good in short yardage situations, and Michigan never forced a 3rd or 4th and long.
Well, when you're looking at a Michigan football team, they needed to set the tone really early. There is a possible weather storm coming in here later that will make the field very murky, and Michigan would like to set the tone now, make it hard on the Wisconsin Badgers, and make them know that we can stop their biggest weapon. Now they're going to have to catch up real quick before the weather comes, and Wisconsin's already up with the lead.
This has been the quintessential Wisconsin drive, no doubt about that. And this Michigan offense has not always done their best trailing. They had some hiccups versus Army, fumbled the ball, have had turnover issues. We're down against Middle Tennessee State, but I don't think they were too worried at that point. But
no,
they did have a brave drive down 7 against Army in overtime last game. They were able to go down the field, get that touchdown. You don't need a touchdown right now, of course, but you don't want to get down, as you said, to a team that grinds the ball like this and kills clock.
No, more than anything, you want to show that you can handle what they're throwing at you. Like we all understand it. This is a Michigan football team that needs to prove something tonight. They need to prove that they can handle themselves on offense. They need to prove that they can move the ball without anything given to them. Shea Patterson's out there. Today is his night. He has to prove he can make plays against a really good Wisconsin defense and an especially good Wisconsin defensive line that's going to come after him all game.
This is going to be a gut test drive for Michigan here. What do you think about that Wisconsin decision to elect to keep the ball after winning the coin toss. Teams usually defer. How do you think that went for the Badgers?
I think they looked at the weather report like I was saying earlier and said, we're going to set the tone against Michigan really early.
Yep.
They know that Michigan is the kind of team that will blow you out if they get up early. So they need to set the tone and make this a rough and tough game that Jonathan Taylor can push his way through.
Yep, I do think it's generally smarter to have more information when you play offense more in the half. So I generally prefer to defer. But when you're a home team, you're not an underdog as the odds makers have it, but you are the lower ranked team playing a theoretically better team at home, and you're a team like Wisconsin. It means so much to establish a tone, put some fear in the Michigan defense, and now the offense too, knowing you're playing in their stadium, they're playing the football the way they want to. It's a risk, because if you go 3 and out like they nearly did, you suddenly blew that whole advantage that receiving the ball has, but right now it paid off huge dividends for them.
Well, especially the way Wisconsin plays. Wisconsin knows there's a lot to gain if they can show Michigan that they can just run up their throat, and Michigan can't stop them.
And right now Michigan cannot. This Badger offensive line, they are getting a phenomenal push. And even when they don't, Jonathan Taylor makes a great decision to gain yardage. Michigan blew up the play, and Jonathan Taylor just cut that to the right, went around the tackles, and got a huge chunk play. Kickoff is just about underway. We'll see what this Michigan offense can do with 2 weeks. There have been rumors about Shea Patterson's health. We'll see how he looks on this drive. Kickoff is underway, and that one's going to go over the head of Giles Jackson. Takes a bounce in the shallow end zone and rolls through it. Michigan ball at the 25. Andrew, what do you want to see out of this offense? They're mostly healthy. Donovan Peoples-Jones looked healthy in warm-ups. True Wilson did not make the trip. What are you expecting today from the Michigan offense?
I want to see us enforce our will on offense. I want to see a good running game. I want us to establish it. I also want to see Shea Patterson make plays. Shea Patterson is oftentimes seemed to give the offense exactly what the offense gives him in speed and space. Shea Patterson needs to prove that he can throw the ball and make plays on his own.
Yep, this offense did not really resemble the speed and space that was so talked about in the offseason. I know, Andrew, you probably have seen the speed and space T-shirts around campus. It really went viral, that speed and space claim. So far, though, Michigan fans have yet to see that space. We know there's speed on this team, but they have not been put in great situations. I think the favorite play offensively, if you can call it that, for every Michigan fan so far was the fake punt to Dax Hill. That was maybe the most speed and space play we've seen all season.
It was the most speed and space play because it caught the defense off guard. That's something that Michigan needs to do a little bit more of. Last year, as you remember, every time it hit certain 5, it was a screen or an inside run or a slant. That's something that Michigan needs to fix when they get to the offense. They need to test the waters of the defense and try to see if they can get them off balance. That's what the speed and space offense was supposed to do. And currently, it does not look as though it's succeeding as much as we hope so. But there's also a long season. This is the first of the Big Ten play. Hopefully the Big Ten play brings out a little bit more of the offense.
Absolutely. It is the Big Ten opener for the Wolverines. Almost never do they play that Big Ten opener before the 3rd week of the season. I suppose it is week 4 because of the bye week, but they do play Notre Dame in late October. That almost never happens in that rivalry. But we'll see. Maybe the playbook was being saved for the Big Ten schedule. I really doubt that, though, because they had to open it up against Army. But you're absolutely right. They need to figure out what that defense's game plan is, find ways to catch him off guard, and find a way to get a guy open. Because no defense ever has a game plan where we're going to let a guy get in space. The speed is here. Jim Harbaugh and staff have recruited the speed. It's Josh Gaddis' responsibility to create that space for them. So far, no good. We'll see if they can get it going tonight here in Madison, Wisconsin.
More importantly than just Jim Harbaugh and Josh Gaddis getting speed and space, Shea Patterson and Dylan McCaffrey as the quarterbacks have to recognize where the ball is going and make plays, unscripted plays on their own.
Offense takes the field after a long TV timeout. Commercial free here on WCBN. You can kind of tell it's a Fox game when the commercials go this long. Shea Patterson in shotgun formation. Charbonnet to his left. And it's 4 wide right now. Looks like McCune is the lone tight end. Donovan Peoples-Jones out to Patterson's right. No, that's Tariq Black, rather. Patterson drops back, looks toward Black, rolls to his left, and throws downfield to a wide-open Ronnie Bell, who has one man to beat to the 40, 35, 30. He's getting caught up with and cannot shake the tackle. It's down at the 6-yard line. There you have it. The speed and space has arrived here in Madison, Wisconsin. Shea Patterson extended the play on his feet and found Ronnie Bell, who shook the first would-be tackler and was off to the races. One Badger finally caught up to him, Fayen Hicks, who we have down in our game notes as having speed issues. We might have to cross that one off. He caught up to Ronnie Bell. As the referees confirm, 1st and 10 from the 7 now.
Looking at that play, that's exactly what you want to see. Shea Patterson extending plays. It looked like it was 2 sticks to the left, and they were both covered pretty well. Shea Patterson extended to the right, let Ronnie Bell get a little bit more open. He had a big game, and there was no coverage behind him.
Yep, that was a phenomenal play by Patterson. Never gave up on the play. Black was covered, but he found his guy. Now that the receivers are right in front of us, I'll try to get an exact read on who is in this game. Ronnie Bell, of course. Black we saw. Nico Collins is in. Those look to be the 2 receivers, Bell and Collins, as Charbonnet hurries off the field. Ben Van Sumeren looks to be the lone back in the backfield now, and he is going to be lined up right next to Patterson. 1st and goal from the 7. Officials scramble, though. It looks like someone called timeout. Looks like the Michigan offense was confused, and they had to call timeout. You hate to call a timeout on your second play of the game, but it's so imperative to get the ball in here, score this touchdown. It's really difficult to score from 1st and 10 from the 7, 1st and 7 rather. You got to get this right here.
You got to get this right, and more importantly, the momentum would have gone completely in the game of Wisconsin. They were looking complete. Michigan had a huge game. Wisconsin was on the feet of their toes. And then you got Michigan, who's going to come in and try. And if they get that if they get that delayed game penalty, all the momentum shifts. At least this way they can salvage some of what they had left.
Absolutely. You have to get this right. There's no doubt about that. Credit to the Wisconsin crowd here, getting loud. And they're still not filled up yet. They do an interesting way with how they let the students in. The north end of the stadium here, it's the student section. If you get here, fans get here like 6 hours early, and then they get to see the kickoff right away if they got in that early. Fans still piling in. I'm sure this will be a sellout. They've got a really pretty thing going with the red and white stripes down the sidelines here. Michigan fans doing a good job to kind of ruin the image, though, with specks of blue, maize and blue. We are among the fans here right now. We got fans to our left and directly in front of us.
No, entirely. What it looks like to me is in a field of roses. It looks like there's a couple sunflowers out there in maize, right for the Michigan fan base. Looking at the student section, I actually have a friend out there named Eliza Shulman. Shout out to her, who's out there wishing us a good loss, as she said.
Wisconsin student, I take it.
Yeah, Wisconsin student. She takes it. She's a friend of mine from way back when. Here's open to you, Eliza. Enjoy the game.
Well, it's going to be a long timeout again, so we waited a long time with the TV timeout to see what Michigan had drawn up on their first play. Look good. So they're taking their time. You only get 3 timeouts, though, so can't spend the time to drop a masterpiece on every play. Not that last play, I think, was particularly about the play design, just more so Shea Patterson doing a good job extending the play.
No, the guy was pretty much open. You look at the play, like Ronnie Bell was covered for most of the play, and then there's only so long the defensive back can cover Ronnie Bell.
Great coverage by the line. They gave Patterson enough time to escape and keep that play going, not have to cross the line of scrimmage and find his guy.
And credit to Shea Patterson, threw it right over his head, right where it had to be, right where the defender could not get it.
Yep, and he got the defender to kind of dive for it and end up missing the tackle because of where he put the ball.
Exactly. Wonderful play by Shea Patterson. This is what we wanted to see from the former 5-star recruit.
Absolutely. We'll try to get a gauge of who's out there. I think there's more than 11 players in the Michigan huddle right now. Wisconsin has taken the field. Michigan coming out there now. Charbonnet still not going to be on this play. They might be going 5 wide here. Nope, Van Sumeren is in the game. So it will be, looks like Bell and Collins, the 2 wide receivers out wide, right and left. 2 tight end set, Eubanks and McCune lined up as basically extra ends here to block. Van Sumeren, it's a keeper for Patterson, who throws it to Collins, and he missed him.
Great throw by Patterson, though, right on the money. Good coverage by the cornerback over there, getting all over Nico Collins, I think it was.
Yep, Nico Collins, the intended receiver. That probably was an option play right there. It's just a hair higher than Collins was expecting it. I'm gonna give a little bit of the blame both to Collins and Patterson. A little bit off by both of them. It was a catchable ball, not the best location, but Collins probably should have came down with that one. Same formation. This time they do give it to Van Sumeren, who is knocked around and fumbles again. His last 2 carries, he has put the ball on the carpet, and Wisconsin recovers.
That is not.
And that was Ben Mason. That was Ben Mason who got back into the game. So it looks like Ben Sumerin got punished for his last fumble. Mason comes in, and then he fumbles.
Well then, that's not the type of thing you want to see out of the Michigan offense. Former WCBN broadcaster Austin Falco is probably sitting in his house with his hands over his face, over his favorite player.
Well, and he's here in Madison. Not going to like that one. Ball will be recovered at the 4-yard line. And we talked about during that timeout, Michigan spent the timeout. They had to get this right. And they end up with a fumble from Ben Mason, the team superhero. That is a very hard pill to swallow. Looks like his days at defensive tackle might be numbered. Don't think he got in on that last drive at all. It is Carlo Kemp, Aiden Hutchinson, and a few others here on the Michigan defensive line. Wisconsin, Cone, throws, looks right to throw. Has a man, first down at the 15 it looks to be. Jake Ferguson, the tight end, picks it up from Madison, Wisconsin, hometown kid.
Too much roaming by the Michigan defense over there. Once he rolled out, half the defense rolled over to the middle to cover the opposite side. Left a lot of room for the mover. That could have been a 2-yard gain.
Hutchinson, Jeter, Kemp, and Pay are the defensive linemen. We saw some Uche on the last drive. I'm not sure what Ben Mason has left to do on this team offensively or defensively if he's going to get benched on the offensive side. Decent carry here from Taylor. Had a small gap and took it, fell forward for a 3-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 7 now. Michigan has to prevent a 96-yard touchdown drive here or they're going to be really up against the wall.
They're up. That's exactly right. The Michigan defense needs to stop Jonathan Taylor right now or risk him being the thorny existence of the Michigan defense the whole time.
It's going to be a 5-wide set here for Wisconsin. You don't see that too often. They almost exclusively run that on passing downs. Michigan with 4 down linemen, and Ross is also threatening to blitz. They bring 6 and get into the backfield, but they get the pass off, who is chased down by Lavert Hill for a Wisconsin first down. Ball to the 27. Uche was a half-second away from strip sack and Cone, but I'm not sure if Cone even felt the pressure. He saw his man, though, got the ball out quickly when looks like the receiver just dragged Lavert Hill with him. Quintez Cephas drags Lavert Hill, caught the ball just ahead of the sticks and falls down about 2 yards beyond it. 1st and 10 from the 27 now. I formation now for the Badgers. They've been sending men in motion a lot. A.J. Taylor is the back. Meanwhile, Jonathan Taylor will not go down. He's in a big pile, taken down after about 9 yards. He had a good hole, had about 5 free yards, and would not give up. Fights his way forward for a 9-yard gain. It will be 2nd and 1 from the 36, it looks like. Unless they blew him dead a bit earlier than he thought he got.
The Wisconsin offensive line just blew away the Michigan defense right away. There was nowhere, when Jonathan Taylor had the ball, there was like a solid 4 yards both ways of nothing but open space for Jonathan Taylor to run.
2nd and 3. They did blow the play dead a bit earlier than Jonathan Taylor would have liked. They're back in the I formation. Kalik Hudson playing on the line. Taylor gets the ball, and he has a big gap. If it weren't for the referee forcing him to the right, he might have gotten even further free. 3 Michigan defensive backs have to bring him down. And right now, the Wisconsin offensive line is dominating this game. Michigan brought the blitz once, and it kind of worked in Wisconsin's only 3rd passing attempt of the game.
Wisconsin is just getting whatever they want on offense. Michigan needs to do whatever they can to stop them now. If they get into field goal range and get up 2 scores, that's going to be deadly for Michigan when Wisconsin likes to run out the clock.
Wisconsin's having a phenomenal success rate now. They're getting ahead of the sticks every play. It's about a 5 to 20-yard gain every single play. Meanwhile, Michigan had that one massive gain from Ronnie Bell for 68 yards as Cohen drops back to pass on a play action. Airs one out, 2 defenders in the area, and Metellus cannot get it. It hit him in the hands. Cohen unwisely threw into double coverage for his first incompletion of the game, and Wisconsin has just handed Michigan a chance to get a stop. We talked about their great success rate. That's the first unsuccessful play this drive. 2nd and 10 now for the Badgers. Terrible decision there by Cohen to throw into double coverage, and that should have been a pick.
Listen, the Michigan defensive backs are too fast for them to throw downfield on. I mean, if you saw that, that should have been a pick, but Ambry Thomas seemed to just run into Josh Metellus' arm and make him lose the ball.
Looks like, yeah, collision might have been the reason why Metellus dropped that, but Ambry Thomas provided blanket coverage, and Metellus it was a great job as a safety. It's another play action. The ball is tipped and hits the ground, and Michigan has finally forced a 3rd and long. It felt like you could not stop this Wisconsin team unless you got them to 3rd and long.
Well, yes, this is exactly what Michigan wants. Michigan wants to force them at 3rd and 10. Make Ian Crook beat me.
Cone.
Oh, and excuse me. Thank you very much. Ian Cone beat you. Michigan is able to keep their speed with the Wisconsin wide receivers, and Wisconsin now is getting away from the roots of running with Taylor.
Wisconsin going 4 wide, it looks. They've got one man in the backfield, Garrett Groshek. And it's a draw, and he has some space. It's going to be close here, but he's brought down at the 47-yard line. I think Wisconsin's going to go for this, though.
I would expect them to. They went for it on the 30-yard line. On their own 30-yard line. There was no excuse for them not to do it on the 50-yard line.
And no, they're bringing out the punt team on 4th and 3. I loved Wisconsin's decision to go for it earlier. I think they've been so good, and that draw play is a play you make when you know you're willing to go for it on 4th down.
Exactly.
That's how you get it to 4th and short, and it succeeded. Unfortunately, though, it looks like they are going to punt. And this one is away. It's going to be signaled for a fair catch. That ball hits the ground and takes a favorable Michigan bounce. That one skedaddles into the end zone. So Michigan gets a lucky break there. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Wolverines.
Interesting game planning, though. Michigan has only stopped Wisconsin running back from running for more than 1 yard once this whole game. So I don't seem to understand Wisconsin's decision to just punt the ball away on a 4th and 1.
4th and 3 was the official spot, but I completely agree with you. They were on the Michigan side of the field with the way the push their offensive line has been getting and the way Jonathan Taylor's been running. I feel like your odds are at least 75% chance to pick that up. I
think so too, but I'd also like to give credit to the Wisconsin coaching staff a little bit for getting the backup running back in there to make Michigan believe it. A draw play got at least 6 yards of space for them to make something happen.
And it does look like it's starting to rain here. Not on the field yet, but in the distance it looks like there's a downpour. Fans here in the stadium are starting to put on their ponchos and rain jackets, it looks like.
Well, that means Michigan has to hurry up and score real quick and tie the game up before the weather gets too unfavorable for Michigan to get into a bloodbath run game.
Yep, this will be in favor of Wisconsin if it does rain. We knew rain was a chance. It looked like at the last minute we were going to dodge rain here at Camp Randall. But everyone to the left of us here in the fan section is putting on their rain jackets. It's kind of amazing. It looks like they're trying to do the wave or something, the way they're all putting on the rain jackets. There is also a chance of thunder, at least earlier in the day. That was the report. We'll let you know if this does go to a thunder delay. And the rain has landed here in Camp Randall. We are just under the press box here on the bottom level of the broadcast area. And it is raining right next to us, but we're fortunate enough to be sheltered from it. We're going to make sure our equipment stays dry here, but the overhang should guard us for the most part.
Yes, sir. Look at we are directly under a small little scaffolding with a little bit of openness for the rain to hit us if we really wanted to. So we must protect our equipment at all times.
Yep. Hopefully no technical issues ensue, but we think we'll be all right here. Michigan now going to take over from the 25-yard line. And this is a huge drive. Michigan got a big break there with that one poor decision from Cone, breaking up the pass, and then someone batted that ball at the line. I believe it was Pay. Ben Mason did get in on that play at defensive tackle as well. I saw him running toward the bench. And then they got Wisconsin to 3rd and long, and they were finally able to force a punt. Looks like Christian Turner is the back. I saw Charbonnet kind of limping just a bit in the last series, so perhaps this is going to be Turner's game. Patterson drops back wide open black for a medium gain, who tries to dance around, ultimately can't make anything out of nothing. 5-yard gain, and a good job getting ahead of the sticks here on 1st down, 2nd and 5 for the Wolverines.
Well, they have only won one run play so far. It seems to be anti-Michigan philosophy. Hopefully this keeps up and we're able to succeed. They got to get to the end zone real quick before it starts to really rain.
2nd and 5 now. Turner still the lone back. One tight end, 3 receivers wide for the Wolverines. Tariq Black on the near side to Patterson's left on the near, who is lined up right alongside the left hash. Patterson sees something he doesn't like and makes some commands to the lineman. Drops back and fires, and what diving catch by Ronnie Bell. Looks like there was some miscommunication between Bell and Patterson, but Bell dives forward and picks up the first down, and a nice 22-yard gain. And that's Michigan's second biggest play of the day.
Great play by Ronnie Bell. That ball should not have been catched by any receiver. Ronnie Bell leaped out and extended his body, was able to make a play.
Michigan now still rolling with 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and the officials blow a play dead. Maybe under review. Yep, this is going to go to review. It looked like Bell got it to me,
It looked like Bell got it to me as well, but if they're going to review the play, Michigan should have hurried up and try to get a play out before they were able to review it.
Worth noting, Jones did enter the field on this play. I believe that was his first snap from scrimmage if the ball actually were snapped. And we got some replay now. It looks like Bell caught it to me. I don't know how they're going to overturn this one.
To me, so far, with the replay we're looking at, it looks like he has the ball pretty secure. We haven't seen him a clear look at the ball yet.
Oh, that one got jarred loose by the ground upon further review. I think they're going to overturn this one from that angle.
I'm not sure it's going to be quite overturned yet. I think that it still looks to me like it was like a catch, and then he had secured the ball once he hit the ground.
This will be a difficult one to call. I think if there was no precedent for the ruling on the field, this one would have to go incomplete. But because the ruling on the field was catch, there's a chance it stands, but I do think they're going to end up turning this one over.
We will see. But so far, I think it's a Michigan first down there. I think there's not enough to overturn that one.
Perhaps good news for the Michigan offense, who might be facing 3rd and 5, is that the rain has not really picked up. It's just a light drizzle for now. It was not a great throw. Bell had to extend. It was where Patterson did throw it where the defenders weren't. There were 2 linebackers that had a chance at deflecting that ball, and a defensive back shadowing Bell, who could have maybe caused trouble had Patterson threw it directly to Bell. Instead, he gave Bell a chance to leap for it, and Bell almost made the spectacular play.
Well, in review, there was no one open on that play.
No.
Patterson threw it to anyone who was not have a safety covering.
And they do overturn it. So that's 3 plays under review, 2 overturned. First one to go is Wisconsin's way. So 3rd and 5 now for Michigan. And there will be 3 minutes and 10 seconds put back onto the game clock. So 3:10 to go in the first quarter.
Well, here we go. Michigan needs to show that they have the grit to take these losses, take these L's, and still force their way to the first down.
Michigan faces 3rd down now, first of the game. Turned the ball over from the 5-yard line earlier as Ben Nason got his first carry at fullback of the season. They bring Tariq Black in motion. Patterson drops back. Charbonnet picks up the pass, and it's into triple coverage. That one didn't have a chance. Incomplete. Michigan will punt.
To me, it seemed there was a rushing lane a little bit on the right side of Patterson where he could have taken it and run for that first down. Instead, decided to throw it into triple coverage.
And there still are concerns. Perhaps Patterson, it's rumored he has an oblique injury. That might be causing him to not keep the ball and run like he did last year. Ultimately, no one open, and he had to throw into double coverage, but that seemed like the least likely possible route to McCune there that could have ever resulted in a catch. Blanketed by 2 defensive backs.
Blanketed by 2 defensive backs, and the third one that was covering, I believe, Nico Collins at the time.
Will Hart, punt is nearly blocked, but he gets off a boomer. The returner at the back pedal all the way to the 13, but he has some space now, outkick the coverage, but Josh Metellus comes in and ends any funny business there. And it was actually Jared Charr, or Cameron McGrone. Cameron McGrone ends up making the tackle. Decent return out to the 28 as Wisconsin's own Jack Dunn brings the ball out 15 yards forward to the 28. Good punt, good coverage. Will Hart hit that one so well he outkicked most of his coverage, but they still got there and prevented a big return.
Well, this is where it comes. Michigan has to deal with this adversity and show they can weather it. If Michigan seems lethargic at all in this point and seems to let Wisconsin walk all over them, this game's going to be over real quick for them.
Yep, they were able to force a 3rd and long last drive. We'll see if they can keep it up. It looks like Uche and Pei are rotating into that other defensive end spot opposite Aiden Hutchinson. Michigan showing blitz. It's a give to Taylor, who bumps out to the left, and he's got room. It's off to the races. Two defensive backs to the 45, 40, 30. He's not going to get caught. Jonathan Taylor is gone for a 72-yard touchdown. 13-0 Wisconsin. That's a one-play drive for the Badgers.
This is what happens when you blitz too much. You leave the opportunity. If they pick up that blitz, there's going to be no one in coverage for the second level. Taylor was able to get off right away. There was no one there once he was able to break the first round of the tackles.
Yet Michigan has had to bring extra men to get that push. That time they failed to get the push, and Taylor makes the right read, and you can't catch him. He is big, weighs 5'11", weighs 215, but he is quick. Outran a bunch of great athletes on that Michigan defensive back group. It's 13-0, looking to be 14 here with 2:43 to go in the first quarter as Michigan enters a huge hole. Kick is underway. It is good. It's been hugging that right upright right now for Wisconsin's kicker, Aaron Cruikshank. That could come into play later in the game. He's not looking great from 20, but right now they're not kicking field goals. They are scoring with every drive they have as long as they don't throw the ball.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor's only had 12 attempts, but he's already 143 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's a yard away from squaring 12 and going for 12 a carry on 12 yards. That's absurd.
That's absurd. Michigan is letting him have everything they want. Michigan needs to get better at covering for him. Take a hit for the last drive. They were able to, whenever Wisconsin was forced to throw the ball, nothing happened. They were able to get nothing going. Michigan needs to get better at this and score quick because you're already down 2 touchdowns.
Last time the Wolverines came to Madison, Jonathan Taylor was still the star back. He had a pretty good game, but nothing like this. In 12 minutes and 17 seconds, he's rushed for 143 yards. Last time Michigan came to Madison, Hornibrook threw for 153 yards. 157 rather. He's 14 yards away from tying what Hornibrook did here 2 years ago. He's going for 11.9 yards per carry. This is absurd. Kickoff underway. It's a good one. That'll be a touchback.
It seems to me that Michigan needs to get a better job at reading at getting on defense and trying to trap Jonathan Taylor inside the pocket. When you're looking at this current juncture, Michigan has been able to let Jonathan Taylor get outside the tackles and get inside the guard and tackle and just find his way to for an extra 5 or 6 yards a game.
They have no answer right now. It was death by 20 blows to the head on every drive. That one was a knockout right away, though. One-play drive as the Wisconsin fans have ramped up the noise here. I can barely hear myself speak. Christian Turner still the back. Ronnie Bell comes in motion behind Patterson, and it's a give to Turner on an option. That was probably the wrong read, though. Turner had nowhere to go. 0-yard gain, 2nd and 10. Their entire offense has been that 168-yard pass to Bell.
Still, it feels like that's their first run outside from a regular running back that wasn't Ben Mason. So Michigan is trying to, if they're going to establish the run, they've waited too long to do it. They got to start throwing the ball a little bit more.
They have 3 rushing yards so far in this game, 76 total yards of offense. Patterson drops back. He has time, and he can take off if he wants to. I don't see anyone open. Runs to the 30, scampers across, and I think he got the ball to the 31. That'll bring up 3rd and 4. So he makes it 3rd and manageable now, but that's something you like to see there. Patterson at least able to run. We'll see what Michigan draws up here on 3rd and 4.5.
3rd and 4, but the last time we were almost in this exact same position, 3rd and 5. Couldn't find a single guy open. Shea Patterson seems to be a perfect time for that speed and space that Josh Gass is preaching about.
3rd and 5, here we go. McCune in motion, 3 wide. Patterson drops back. Pick up the blitz. He's looking and got the ball out, but that was probably pass interference. Yes, it was. Donovan Peoples-Jones is fired up. He was wide open, and the linebacker just jumped on him.
Perfectly covered by the linebacker. Had him, just decided to jump on him as the ball was coming.
Yep, wild goose. Jumps on Peoples-Jones. The officials are discussing it, though. Might not be as clear-cut as we thought. Sure looked like pass interference. Only 1 flag on the field, but the umps are taking their time to discuss it. That play was breaking up, and Patterson took a hit. Was probably going to lose the ball if the linebacker got there and hit him as he was trying to throw.
Yeah, looked to me like the linebacker just grabbed his shoulders as he was in the air and just hawked him back.
2 fouls on the play, and it's going to be offsetting. Pass interference, the obvious one by Wild Goose. Automatic first down, though, but then unsportsmanlike conduct by Donovan Peoples-Jones. So first down, but they're going to move backward.
He was fired up. It did look like he yelled in his face about what over that pass interference. Donovan Peoples-Jones needs to get better and be more and get more discipline. Take the yards that they give him. Instead, we got a first down and a little bit more back than we even got.
I did say he was fired up. It didn't look like he was trying to get in the face of Wild Goose, but I can't hear what he says, obviously, from up here. The officials must have heard something. So Michigan gets the first down, but moves backward 4 yards from when they started the drive. 1st and 10 from the 21 now. 1:36 to go in the first. Rain seems to have mostly died down. 3 receivers out to Patterson's right, and Turner is the back also to his right. Fakes the give to Turner and finds Eubanks in the flat with some blockers. And he is like a human bowling ball when he gets speed, pushes through some DBs and falls forward near the line to gain. We'll see where they spot it. Looks to be second and short.
You gotta love the tight end bubble.
Nope, first down. They gave it to him.
You gotta love the tight end bubble screen. It's the most popular play in college football right now. Works. It seems to work with every team.
Charbonnet was in on that play, and it looks like both Nico Collins and Tariq Black did a phenomenal job downfield blocking and helping Eubanks. It's another keeper. RPO. Eubanks nearly made an Odell Beckham Jack-esque catch. They ruled it incomplete, and fans are upset about a push out of bounds by one of the 2 players. Patterson was under duress on an RPO and threw it behind Eubanks, who nearly spun around and got it one-handed. Would have been about a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 10, 1:04 to play in the quarter.
Well, it looked like the safety was grabbing on Eubanks a lot longer than the play actually lasted. So I don't know what the fans are so upset about.
Eubanks latched on, and then Eubanks put a hand on his back, but I think his own weight carried him to the ground. It's a fake the handoff. Patterson, he has all day, throws to Turner, who catches it. Can't make the man miss, though, and is stood up for a short gain. It'll be 3rd and 8 or 7 here. 3rd and long to go for the Wolverines.
On that play, he had Nick Eubanks way open downfield on the post. Decided to check it down to his running back.
Patterson had all day. He didn't have to get the ball out just yet, but he had Turner open. And if Turner did make the man miss, he would have shook him loose. 3rd and 6, they give it to him for forward progress. 31 seconds in the quarter. 15 on the play clock. 3rd and 6. Michigan can't let this quarter expire and have some time to think about it. Patterson drops back, fires to nobody. You have to think that the receiver made the wrong cut there. Ultimately incomplete as Cornelius Johnson gets into the game, and Patterson threw it to no one.
No one. It seemed that there was a complete miscommunication on what the route was supposed to be. I mean, I'm not even sure if he was he supposed to run a skinny post inside. I have no clue. Michigan needs to figure this stuff out if they're going to even get back into this game. They're already down. They have shown that they have an inability to stop the Wisconsin run game, and now they're going to have a whole quarter just to do it all over.
So Michigan lines up the punt, although Wisconsin looks very concerned about a potential fake here. Will Hart booms it as per usual. Another good one, angling toward the sideline, takes a hop at the 10, scooped up, and he's in open field now, gets to the 20, and is wrestled down at the 20-yard line. Another good run there from Wisconsin's punt returner, but looks like John Beatty beat him downfield. And that will set up the ball at the 20 after another great punt from Will Hart. He might be Michigan's MVP right now.
You're not wrong. Michigan needs to put up or shut up right now. Show that they can stop Jonathan Taylor. They haven't been able to all game. That offensive line has been ruining Pay and everyone. Seems that they have to get bigger on defense and hope Ben Mason can get into the backfield a little bit more.
And this defense is probably getting tired. They've spent so much time on the field here. Wisconsin dominating time of possession. They have 10 minutes of possession this game. It's a give to who else but Taylor, who was met in the backfield. Not Taylor, actually. My apologies. That was Nakia Watson. That will end the quarter. 2nd and 8. 2-yard gain for Watson. Taylor getting a well-deserved break after his 73-yard touchdown. That'll do it for the first quarter. That could have not gone any better for the Badgers.
Watching this game, you like to think that Michigan will be able to come out in the next quarter and be able to accurately decipher what Wisconsin is doing on offenses that is making it so easy for them to bulldoze the Michigan defensive line.
I mean, Wisconsin lost 4 offensive linemen to the NFL this past season. Right now, you can never guess that. Obviously, Biotish is a first-rounder. Cole Van Landen will likely be playing on Sundays, too. He's a redshirt junior, might go pro after this year.
Josh Seltzer looks really good out there as the lone sophomore out in that offensive line.
And they're all redshirts, too, because they're so line. Everyone gets to, just wait their freshman year and develop, as the Wisconsin women's hockey team is honored for their 2019 national championship here in the north end zone. Michigan, though, they have some soul searching to do on defense and offense right now. The time of possession as we enter halftime is 10:30. This isn't quite exactly up to date, but 10:36 Wisconsin, 1:41 Michigan. It's a little bit better than that in reality. That's just the numbers we have right now. 10:36, 4:15 is going to be how it ends to end the quarter. 10:45 to 4:15. That is terrible. It's killing this Michigan defense. Michigan hasn't had a drive that was more than 6 plays, I don't think.
I don't think so either. I mean, Michigan, when they are passing a lot, other than that one play to Ronnie Bell were extended, and it was still only a 12-yard pass. They seem to be doing a lot of check down Charlie action over here. Michigan needs to get better at the downfield passing game. Use your advantages. Their advantage is the speed of the receiver. Try to get the play to extend and see if they can get the receivers open. They are fast enough to do it.
Yep, the biggest talent differential on this field today is the Michigan receivers versus the Wisconsin defensive backs. Although after what we've seen, I might want to reconsider and say Wisconsin offensive line versus Michigan defensive line, perhaps. But the receivers are so good. Wisconsin isn't a state that produces a ton of talent on the defensive backfield part of the ball. Their front sevens are usually terrific, but they've done a good job recruiting out of state and finding that talent. Reggie Pearson, their starting safety, is from Michigan, actually. They've got multiple defensive backs from Florida, Darren Harrell from Denver, a couple of guys from Texas as well, none of them from Wisconsin, but they've recruited out of state. If you're a Wisconsin player, you know if you're a defensive back and you come to play for Wisconsin, you're going to be completing that team and you're going to have great teammates around there for you. They've been able to sell on that defensive backfield. But Andrew, let's play a guessing game here and compare Wisconsin stats rather offensively to a year ago. How many rushing yards do you think the Badgers had in last year's game in Ann Arbor that was on College Game
Total,
Day?
including the quarterback running backs?
Yes, including quarterbacks and running backs who weren't Jonathan Taylor.
I'd say a total of 120 yards.
Not that low. Wisconsin does love to run. Even in bad games, they put up good rushing numbers. 183. They're at 156 right now.
Wow.
Jonathan Taylor had how many yards?
I think he had 120. I think that's the number I was thinking
You're
about.
close, 101. 17 carries, 101. Not quite the performance today with 12 carries, 143. In the first quarter, he's already eclipsed his total from last year. He was held to 5.9 yards per carry and 0 touchdowns. Today, 143 yards, 11.9 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. How many yards did Alex Hornibrook throw for?
I think he threw for 78 yards last year.
100 on the dot. Right now, Wisconsin's actually exactly on pace to do that. 25 yards through one quarter. And they threw 5 this quarter. They threw 20 last quarter. Back on the field, Cohen takes the field, finds Ferguson open for a modest gain on 2nd and 8. It will be 3rd and short, but that's exactly what Wisconsin loves. Expect them to grind it out here. They've got 3rd and maybe 2 feet to go. Hutchinson, Jeter, and Kemp are 3 of the linemen. We'll see who else Michigan brings out here to try to make a stand on a day where they've been getting no push at the line. Pay, Hutchinson, Kemp, and Jeter are the linemen. Safety's playing up right on that 30-yard line, which is the line to gain. Wisconsin in the I formation, gives it to the fullback, and Kemp met him in the backfield, but he falls forward for the first down. Any other teammates there with him, they could have brought him down. However, Mason Stockey keeps the ball out of Menominee, Wisconsin. Falls forward to the line to gain after being hit in the backfield. Falls forward for 2 yards. 1st and 10 from the 31 for the Badgers.
Jonathan Taylor wasn't even out there, and they were still able to run all over the Michigan defensive line.
Yep, it looks like Taylor's been on a break right now. Nakia Watson and Stocky are the only backs who have been getting action here. A.J. Taylor in motion. They hand it off to Watson again, who was met in the backfield for no gain. Michigan desperately needed that, and about 6 Wolverines end up joining the fun and getting on the pile as Nakia Watson goes down.
Great reads by the weak side linebacker over there, able to get around the offensive tackles before the tackles had a chance to really establish the run on that play. Clearly an outside handoff.
Jordan Anthony, who has not had too much playing time this season, only had 4 tackles on the year, gets in for the tackle for no gain. 2nd and 10 from the 31. Michigan defense starting to give Wisconsin some trouble at least. Still no Taylor. It's just Stocky, the fullback, in the backfield. Michigan playing with 5 men on the line, including Glasgow. It's a pass in the backfield to Stocky, who has blockers downfield, hugging the sideline and crosses the 50, brought down at the Michigan 49. Jamarick Woods was there on the tackle alongside Vincent Gray, and that's another big gain for Wisconsin on a backward pass.
Perfect play to catch the Michigan defense off guard. Able to just play in their expectations that was either going to go inside or be a long-form passing attempt. Instead, it's a play they typically draw up for Jonathan Taylor as an end-around pass.
Garrett Groshek, who has been their number 3 back in this game at least, 1 touchdown on the season, gets a big reception there, catches Michigan off guard by flipping the script and not doing a prototypical Wisconsin play. I formation, Michigan with 5 down linemen. It's again who falls forward for a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7, and still no Taylor after that huge 72-yard rushing touchdown.
I'm sure Jonathan Taylor, they're holding him back, so he's all ready for the second half of the game, and he's way more conditioned than everyone else and ready to run over the Michigan defense.
Watson has been rolling. They have not missed Taylor yet on this drive. Michigan got him to 2nd and 10, but that was no worry. As they bring Groshek to the right, there are 6 men playing on the line and 3 receivers all out left. Metellus has nothing to do but rush on this play, it looks like. Michigan bringing the coverage, pocket collapses. They find a man in the flat who is wrestled down, and it's going to be 3rd and medium. Ambry Thomas in good coverage on Danny Davis out of Springfield, Ohio. Was a big recruit for Wisconsin, wanted his whole life to play for Ohio State, didn't get the offer, and got to play for the Badgers against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. 3rd and 4 is the spot, so Michigan with a chance to show their grit here. This is certainly 4-down territory, is it not?
Oh, it's definitely 4-down territory, or at least it's not necessarily if they don't want to enforce their will on the Michigan defense.
Loss of yardage here might bring out the punt unit, but Ferguson, the tight end in motion, I formation. It's a give to Watson, who was met in the backfield and brought down for no gain. Michigan might have finally bought their ticket off the field, and it's decision time for Paul Chryst.
Their ticket off the field is having Jonathan Taylor off of it.
Yes, and it does finally look like Taylor being off the field caught up to Wisconsin, but they are going to go for it. 4th and 3 now. They gave him the slightest of gains.
Taylor's still not out there. Groshek's out there.
Yep. Groshek is the back, and this is a huge chance for Michigan to not only get off the field, but finally set up their offense with some good field position. 4th and 3. This is Big Ten football. 4th and 3 from the 43-yard line. In the shotgun formation, 3 receivers out wide right, Groshek the back. Cohn drops to throw. He is hit as he throws. Has a man downfield who catches it and gets out of bounds at the 13-yard line. 1st down, Wisconsin. Ambry Thomas in coverage. Got beat to the line by Quintez Cephas.
Great poise by Jack Cohn out there, just being able to hold himself in the pocket, take the hit, and be ready for the open guy who had single coverage. Odd decision though by the Michigan defense to have zone coverage on the left side of the field. That was able for the receiver to get open and him just throw it up there for him to go get it.
The pressure got there. Graham Glasgow hit Cohn as he threw, but not before the pass escaped his hand and was a perfect one to Cephas. I formation now. Groshek still the back. Groshek running right, has some space, but a great job by Khalid Hudson to get off his block and wrestle down Groshek for a 2-yard gain. Groshek was ready to follow the blockers for a hefty 7 or 8 yard gain. Instead, Khalid Hudson does a phenomenal job shaking the block and wrestling down Groshek. Looked like he was dinged up on the play though and exits the playing field. And in comes Josh Uche. Looks like he might be the substitution for Hudson on that play.
Yes.
2nd and 7, ball at the 13-yard line. 1st down marker at the 6. Hudson tried to run back on the field, but his coaching staff stopped him. He should be back there for the next play. Looks like a bit of a wishbone formation with Groshek as the lone back. Someone called timeout, though. I think it was Michigan. There was some confusion as Hudson almost ran back on the field. And Michigan is down to 1 timeout with 9 minutes to go here in the first half, rather.
I mean, you don't like to see Michigan give up so many timeouts, especially when it's looking like it might be a three touchdown game for a 3-score game for them coming when they get the ball back. But Michigan, if they stop them here, hopefully Michigan gains some momentum on the possession after.
Jonathan Taylor has been spotted, so that he might be injured. Very unfortunate. He already did his damage in this game. He had a great game, even if he left after he played just the first quarter, and that is enough for him to already have perhaps the game of the week. Might be the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week in 1 quarter. Don't know how he got injured because he just outran the whole defense. Wasn't touched on that play. Might have sprained something, outrunning his own body on that one.
That's incredible. If Jonathan Taylor is out, this is Michigan's chance to now have the freedom a little bit more to go blitz heavy, to get to the backfield. Hoping Jonathan Taylor isn't able to find a cut or find a way to get outside of it. Michigan can be a little bit more aggressive now, which is something they need to do because they need to get the guys out. They need to get Wisconsin out their toes. As
Fox goes to TV timeout, they offer Garrett Scholes as the hometown hero here in Madison. As we are still at break, 9:05 to go, 1:20 on this TV timeout, and commercial-free radio here at WCBN. We give you the experience live from the stadium. If you're a Michigan fan, this might be a tempting game to maybe leave the broadcast, but at the very least, you want to stick around for Jump Around, one of the great traditions here in Camp Randall Stadium at the 3rd quarter to 4th quarter intermission, when they play Jump Around and all the fans jump. This upper deck the upper deck in the press box right now, it's said to rattle at times. This is a game that would definitely bring enough fans in to rattle the upper deck here, Camp Randall, when Jump Around comes on. I'm looking forward to that.
In the great spirit of the Boston Red Sox and the Boston Celtics, they will play Jump Around, and the whole stadium is going to get very fun. But it's going to be very, very, very shaky for our broadcast.
And yep, that could be a shake. Just tune out ourselves and let you listen to Jump Around if it comes in loud enough on our NAT mic. 2nd and 7. Jonathan Taylor might be out of this game. We'll give you word once it aided. Was seen entering a medical tent on a play where he was untouched on the way 72 yards en route to the end zone. At the 14-yard line, the tail of the ball is situated right there. Michigan, Pay, Jeter, Hutchinson, and Kemp are the linemen. We'll see what kind of push they can get here. Groshek is the lone back. Bunch formation. Nope. They bring guys in motion and change it up. 2 receivers on the play. And they give it to A.J. Taylor, who makes some moves and is free. Falls into the end zone. Michigan nearly had him down. No, he's ruled out of bounds at the 2. First and goal for Wisconsin. They sent A.J. and Taylor in motion all game. They finally gave it to him. So Michigan defensive backs got off their blocks and could have wrestled him out of bounds, but he made some fancy moves and shook his way forward to the 2-yard line. He fell into the end zone, but the refs blew him down at the 2.
Fantastic play design by the Wisconsin Badgers over there. Completely caught me and the Michigan defense off guard. Just all the switching and shuffling, able to get that end around with very great success.
And we're seeing the typical Wisconsin goal line formation: 2 H-backs and 7 linemen. Groshek getting some push, but is stopped after about a 1-yard gain. This might be where not having Jonathan Taylor really hurts him.
That was not Groshek, actually. That was Watson out there.
That was Watson. Okay, way to get there on the substitution. As Mason Stokey now enters the field in at fullback. But it looks like Watson's going to stay out there. No, he is substituted now for Groshek, as Wisconsin is sharing the ball more with Taylor out of the game. Ball is about 2/3 of the way to the 1-yard line from the 2. So 1 1/3, we'll call it, on 2nd and goal. Groshek the back with Stokey as the fullback, set to be his lead blocker. 6 men on the line. It's a keeper for Cone, who's going to walk into the... No, he's hit! A Michigan linebacker came out of nowhere. Cone, I think, was kind of running lackadaisically, thought he had his path to the end zone set up.
That was Aiden Hutchinson making the play over there.
And the helmet came off of Josh Metellus on that play away from the ball. Cameron McGrone actually is credited with the tackle. Cone had a lead blocker. If he tried to follow Groshek, he might have been safe. To me, it looked like he thought he had it. I thought he had it. But McGrone came flying out of nowhere and nails him for a 1-foot gain, we'll call it. And now Nakia Watson is the back. Two H-backs right behind the left guard and the left tackle. Expect this one to go to the right. It's a give to Watson, who is right at the goal line. It's going to be a tough call for the refs, but he is just short according to preliminary signal. We're going to have 4th and goal from the 1.
I think if you're Wisconsin, you go for it. You have the.
You have to.
You have the. What's the word? Warranty current. You have the currency to do it. You have shown it. You can run over the Michigan defense all day, and if you're up 21-0, you're going to be putting them away pretty quick, heading into the second half.
It's 1st and goal, about 6 inches from the goal line. This is it. Can your offensive line get the push? Can your defensive line get the push? It looks like for now Watson and Groshek are rotating plays, but Wisconsin calls timeout. So timeout Wisconsin. They're going to – I'm not sure if you need to call a timeout if you're Wisconsin here. Just drop the play where you push 9 guys at the line to try to block and let your running back fall into the end zone. That's what I would call if I'm Paul Chryst.
If that's the case, but I think they do respect the Michigan defense and what they were able to do to Jake Crone just a little bit ago. I think that they're going to try to do a little trickery here, get the Michigan off guard, possibly a pop pass like as we saw in the USC-Utah game last night.
We'll have to see what Michigan can draw up here. Offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph for the Badgers. I think he has a pretty easy job right now. But a few different blocking schemes you could probably run here that'll go well if you're coaching Wisconsin's offensive line. Joe Rudolph, of course, is also the offensive line coach here, as well as for the Badgers, because, of course, in Wisconsin, your offensive line coach is also your offensive coordinator. That's the kind of offense they run here in Madison.
Right now, Wisconsin's probably thinking, how do we want to put Michigan away? Do we want to show them we can do best, they can't stop? Or do they want to show them, even when you think we're going to zig, we're going to zag? We'll show right now with this worth, not just that they're going to try to go up 3 scores, is that we can do anything against you right now.
That would be certainly a huge statement touchdown. I think no matter how they score, it's a statement touchdown. You're down 21-0 if they punch this one in. Michigan now, many might remember, back in 2008, I believe, was when the record for the largest Michigan comeback in the Big House was set, when Michigan still had 3 way back when, part of a 3-9 season for the Wolverines. They came back down 19-0 against the Badgers in Ann Arbor. Not the biggest comeback in program history, but the biggest comeback history. Going down 21-0 would be quite the hole to climb out of with 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Need to make a stop here. Hopefully Michigan, when they get back in the field, can show Wisconsin that they are worth messing with. That they are not going to give up and try to fight this game back in. Being down 14-0 isn't as big of a disadvantage as many think, especially since the rain seems to have passed us. That obstacle seems to have left. Now that the play is going to see, we're going to see if Michigan's be able to stop them right now and see if they can breathe some life into this game.
That ball is maybe the length of a ring finger from the end zone. It is agent here. Wisconsin just has to get any kind of push. You could fit maybe 12 note cards between the nose of the ball and the goal line.
It's a wonderful analogy, Daniel.
And it's that typical goal line formation. 2 H-backs to give it to Cohn, who falls through into the end zone. Easy touchdown for Jack Cohn. First QB keeper we've seen from him, but it works. 20-0. The Badgers are up. Not much to say about this one. Wisconsin has played the kind of football they want to. Michigan's offense, one big play, turned it over in a horrible situation at a horrible time too, and has been unable to move the chains since. They've only run 2 plays on the Wisconsin side of the field. 3 to go in this first half. They got to get something to hang their heads high about at halftime. Wisconsin, Aaron Cruikshank about to dot the I on this one. It is up, it is good. That one looked better than the first 2. 21-0 Badgers here in the historic Camp Randall. As Jonathan Taylor has been ruled as questionable in this one, our own Alex Drain providing the scoop. They're saying it might just be a case of the cramps because he ran for 143 yards in 1 quarter. I could see how that could give anyone the cramps.
Yes, sir. I mean, as though Michigan, now they get the ball, they need to show that they can actually offense. Michigan has not been able to pass well, not been able to run well. They have, I think, a combined 8 total rushing yards this whole game so far. Michigan needs to show that they're able to at least accomplish something on that. Whether that's getting Shea Patterson more involved in the passing game, possibly bringing a little bit more dual quarterback action, or debating whether or not we put Dylan McCaffrey's out there, see what he can do. I don't know.
So looking up the largest comeback in Michigan history, it is a 28-7 deficit they faced. John Navarre led the comeback, and that was enough for Michigan to end up winning 38-35 ultimately. My source being mwolverine.com. So 21 is the biggest comeback in Michigan history. We'll see if they can match that now, down 21-0.
I mean, we're still looking for that. I mean, the Michigan offense is still looking for that speed and space that has been so vaunted all this whole offseason. Michigan, hopefully, they can. This is the time and the patience to possibly hold back the playbook. They now need to open up, show the advantage that Michigan has. Throw the ball downfield, make the defensive backs beat you. The defensive line of the Wisconsin Badgers hasn't been doing that great of a job at getting to Michigan as you would think they are. The linebackers have been exceptional in coverage, but if Michigan decides that they can throw the ball downfield and get enough time, I'm sure Shea Patterson or Dylan McCaffrey could throw the ball down enough to get these speedy receivers the ball.
6 minutes to work with. Wisconsin's not an offense that moves down the field quickly, so a nice 5-minute drive or so here for Michigan could really get them going, but they've not been moving the ball like that. 168-yard pass to Ronnie Bell, and that's been basically the whole offense. Patterson has 20 passing yards on 3 other completions outside of that throw. Michigan has 8 yards rushing. So 28 yards outside of that 168-yard play.
That's incredible. That just shows what the Michigan offense needs to improve on. It's not even really the Michigan offense's fault. They've been able to get solid gains when they have to. They just haven't tried to get anything more than a 5-yard in cut or a 2-yard check down pass. This was supposed to be a different offense than last year. It seems to be very familiar, except with a couple of new motions.
Kickoff just about underway. Michigan, as usual, has a couple of returners back. They're standing at the 10 and the goal line. This one is going to hit the very back red stripe of the end zone and bounce through. So in 2003, that is the record. John Navarre led a 21-point comeback against Minnesota, a game they won 38-35 when it was all over. Shea Patterson has a chance to tie Navarre in that record book. And everyone on this team can etch their name in history if they can pull together a 21-point comeback. Patterson, the QB. Michigan, 3 receivers out wide. Christian Turner is the back. It's a key, and the ball is batted down. Patterson had Ronnie Bell. If he threw the ball ahead of Bell, he could have been off to the races. Instead, that one's just a hair behind him, and the Wisconsin DB looked like Caesar Williams makes a great play to stick his hand in there and break it up. It would have been it was a tight window that Patterson had. Had he hit it, though, it might have been another 68-yard play.
That looked like it was off to the races if he hit him.
Tight window, good coverage from Williams. Patterson fakes the handoff to Turner, throws it downfield, has an open. Ronnie Bell, did he catch it though? No, the officials rule incomplete as Bell needed the ground to catch that one again, and the ball rattled as it slammed into the ground as Bell fell forward.
Bell was wide open. Shea seemed to have just thrown it just a little bit to the side of where Bell could have gotten it. He had to extend his body. I'm not surprised he was able to drop that one. Now I'm curious though, was that 21-point comeback at half, or was that just in game total?
I'm looking up that info right now. I'll get it to you at next break we have in the action. The Patterson throwing on the run, unable to hit Bell. We'll see what he can do here. People in motion. Charbonnet out wide too, 5 wide. Patterson has no time to throw, gets one up in the air, a wobbler toward Collins, but he draws the pass interference, and that's just a bad play by, I believe, Williams, who is the hero on first down, did not turn his head around. He could have intercepted that ball as Patterson was hit as he threw. A slow wobbler was way too short to find Collins ever, but he was tackled by Caesar Williams, and Michigan is given a break. First down for the Wolverines.
That was one of the throws you look at when Shea Patterson was looking at the receiver. He was looking at the defensive back who wasn't looking back at Shea Patterson, so he knew if he just threw it up, that was defensive pass interference.
Smart play by Patterson. Saw that he felt the play wasn't going anywhere, chucked at the defender who had the worst positioning, and Michigan gets 15 yards because of it. Jonathan Runyon is no longer in the game. Ryan Hayes has come in to substitute for him. Runyon missed the first 2 games, and Hayes played for him. Hayes looked very good against Middle Tennessee State, but struggled against Army. Jones in motion. They give it to Charbonnet, his first carry in forever. He bumbles forward for 3 yards. 2nd and 7 coming up from the 43-yard line of Wisconsin.
If that was truly an option play, it did look like Peoples-Jones had a really good opportunity if he was able to get that end-around shovel pass and just take it upfield, but it didn't look like it was going straight to Peoples-Jones. It was meant for Che or Charbonnet.
4 wide now. Michigan has Jones, Collins, Bell out left along with another tight end. Charbonnet, the lone back, in the shotgun formation. Eric All, the other tight end. It's a keeper for Patterson. The ball's up in the air and picked off. Tipped at the line of scrimmage and found its way to a Wisconsin linebacker. And that's going to dig Michigan even further into this hole. Michigan in huge trouble right now. Wisconsin's going to have very favorable field position. Their best all game, I believe, as that ball was tipped up. Patterson threw it too low. Keanu Benton tipped it up in the air. And Wisconsin comes down with it. A depth linebacker makes the interception. That ball went right to him. Good heads-up play, but that ball sailed right to him.
Regardless
Looks like Eric Burnell got the interception.
Regardless of whether or not that linebacker was there or not, that throw is ill-advised. There was a safety ready to tackle. I believe it was it Eubanks or it was Eubanks, I believe, right?
And Patterson. Well, I couldn't tell who the target was because that ball got batted right at the line. I think you're right in the direction. It definitely had a definite direction to it. I didn't check where it was going, though, because it immediately got swatted up
right
in the air.
Right in the direction of McCune. He was trying to target McCune right in a seam, but the seam was covered. The safety was right behind him, ready to tackle it out, and the linebacker was there with him. It was an ill-advised throw by Shea, right into basically double coverage. Was even high enough to give him a chance.
You have to get the ball over the line of scrimmage. Keanu Benton is a big guy, not the biggest, though. 6'4", 315. Knocked that one in the air. Andrew, I can get you that fact about the greatest comeback in Michigan history now. They might have to make a bigger comeback now if they're going to come back from this one. It was 14-0 at halftime for Wisconsin. 7-14 after a Michigan touchdown in the third. Then Wisconsin added Minnesota added 2 more in the third. 28-7, and Michigan made a furious comeback. Made it 21-28. Touchdown Wisconsin on a 52-yard run. Minnesota, my bad. It's now 27-35 because Michigan missed an extra point.
It's unbelievable.
And then Michigan got the touchdown, went for 2, and then kicked a field goal with 51 seconds left to win in regulation. So that's the kind of offensive explosion Michigan needs. 38 points in the second half. They might need that to win this game. But how are they going to do that when Wisconsin's killing the clock?
Well, the way it sounds right now, the way you're telling it to me, is that Michigan seemed to have gotten itself in a hole, but it wasn't completely dictated by their lack of offense. It was dictated by just pure arbitrary luck. Michigan has not shown a lot of life on offense outside the one Ronnie Bell type play. Maybe it is time for a change. Shea Patterson seemed to have thrown a ball. Is it time for Dylan McCaffrey to get into the game?
I'm not sure. Patterson has had some great plays in this game. He struggled as well. Patterson, of course, is a senior. If he's going to get benched, I'm sure he'd like to have it happen soon before his fifth game happens and he loses his redshirt eligibility. Wisconsin, tight formation, taking over at their own 42-yard line, their best position of the day. Taylor in motion. Cone drops back, doesn't have anything. Kemp in the backfield and gets off a low ball to a wide receiver. Taylor has to receive that ball on the ground. 3-yard gain, or 2 rather. 2nd and 8 coming up. Wisconsin bought some time for Cone, but ultimately Kemp got his hand on Cone's backside. Couldn't really disrupt the throw, though. Hurried throw results in a bad one that allows for no yards after the catch. Wisconsin playing with 3 receivers out wide left. They haven't been throwing it a lot, but when they have, it's looked good. 8 for 10, 83 yards throwing. Patterson, meanwhile, is 4 for 12. Cone finds Taylor for just about the yardage needed to get to the line of scrimmage, line of gain. I'm going to call it 3rd and 1.
Is this 2 more down territory for the Badgers? Do you think
it's interesting because you have to think you don't want to give Michigan's offense any chances. Glasgow with the stop alongside Metellus. But if they just don't give Michigan, and they give him the first down, actually, he fought forward enough to get the first down. So 1st and 10 Wisconsin. short yardage territory or not, doesn't matter. It's 1st and 10. They're on the Michigan side of the field again. 1st and 10 from the Michigan 48. Cone in the shotgun formation. It's a give to Watson. He goes nowhere, maybe 1 yard on that play.
Well, it's good to know we were able to stop. We are able to stop Watson when he runs up. But it just seems as though when Michigan is able to stop the run game, they are seen to somehow passing game from the Wisconsin Badgers are just able to eat up Michigan down the middle. These 6-yard gains, these 5-yard gains are eating up Michigan's defense. It's going to be hard to stop.
Groshek back in the game. Taylor's day might be done. Cramps are the injury, which isn't something that seems too serious, but why risk it right now with the way the defense is rolling? 21-0. Groshek into the game. Single back. Cone drops back to throw. Metellus wraps up the ball carrier exactly as he caught it. Great coverage by Metellus. A.J. Taylor holds on to the ball as Metellus tried to break it up with one arm, hugs A.J. Taylor, and holds him to a 3-yard gain. 3rd and 5 coming up. And this is what Michigan needed earlier in the game, these 3rd and medium and long situations. This is, no man's territory, though. Wisconsin could try to go for 2 3-yard gains and advance the ball. That might be their strategy here. But no, 5 wide.
Listen, there's one thing Michigan's been able to do today. Their defensive backs have played very good today so far. So if there's anything Michigan's favor, it's this.
And a timeout or delay of game, maybe false start called right before, and that's going to be Wisconsin's maybe 2nd penalty of the game. It's been a very clean played game. Wisconsin had 2 penalties for 21 yards entering this drive. It's going to be 3 for 26. Michigan just 2 for 30. So clean football so far, but not the best football for Michigan, that's for sure. But that's a huge benefit for Michigan right there. It looked like Wisconsin was planning to throw either way. 3rd and 10 now for the Badgers. And it's still 5 wide. As we have McGrone entering the game now at linebacker. Wisconsin fans wanted a late substitution penalty. They're not going to get one. Cone is brought down for a sack. That wasn't. It looked like he almost just gave up on that play immediately, almost like it were a designed run. It was a deliberate pass though. There were the downfield blocking. Yes, it was a designed run rather because of the downfield blocking. No decision to be made there though. 4th and 15. Michigan getting their first sack of the game.
That looks like to be the first time in this whole game that Michigan was able to penetrate the offensive line. Maybe it was miscommunication. Maybe some people thought it was actually going to be a pass, but Michigan was able to actually dig through the holes in that Wisconsin offensive line. Hopefully, in the next half, Michigan's able to rectify that situation from before.
So the punter, Jack Dunn, he's the returner rather, Anthony Lonnie, punts it off. And it is caught. Ronnie Bell jukes out one man, but caught by the other. He's down at the 15. Received at his own 12. Made a good move to dodge one would-be tackler. Falls forward for a 3-yard return. Michigan now, 2-minute drill exactly. And there are some murmurs from the Michigan faithful here. Miller, what did you see right there? You just pointed to me.
Oh, I thought I saw Dylan McCaffrey in the huddle. That does not seem that he is actually going to be in the game.
I think some Michigan fans got tricked by that too. There were some moans. I think Michigan is trying to get tricky, maybe throw Wisconsin off guard a bit. Patterson will resume the ball here from the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Patterson 4 for 12 for 88 yards on this game with 1 interception. He needs to improve those numbers to give Michigan any chance. And it is a give to Turner. Michigan decided way too late whether to keep that. Patterson misread the read option. It was a read option play. He misread the linebacker, gave it to Turner, then tried to pull it away way too late. Slowed down Turner. 3-yard loss, 2nd and 13, Michigan at their own 12. In no huddle formation right now, no huddle offense right now, trying to get the ball forward. 1:35 to go. Patterson drops back. There's pressure, and he is brought down at the 4-yard line. Sacked immediately. Isaiah Loudermilk, all 6'7", 293 of him, got into the backfield immediately and blew right by Micah Wainu. Patterson had no hope and went to the ground immediately. Bredesen is who he beat, actually. Looked like the offensive line misplayed it. There was a design play to the left with the whole left side of the line pulling to their left, and that allowed Loudermilk to get right into the backfield for a 7-yard sack. 3rd and 21 now for Michigan. 3rd and 21 at their own 4, and this is an offensive nightmare. They only had 96 yards of offense entering this drive. They now have gone backward 11 yards and have 85 total yards of offense with 1:28 to go in the game. Wisconsin calls timeout here. They're going to get the ball with good position and time to score, tack on a field goal maybe or even a touchdown.
If you're in Michigan's position, I think you still play for the first down here. The incomplete pass is only going to give them like a timeout. They're going to call a timeout anyway. Wisconsin, they need to get this first down.
Patterson standing in his own end zone, Turner to his left as they get loud here in Camp Randall. 3 wide, extra tight end in McCune. Fakes the gift to Turner, standing in his own end zone. He's been given chase, off to Turner, who was brought down at the 2-yard line. A screen pass to Turner goes for -1 or 2 yards as Michigan continues to move backward here in an absolutely tragic, catastrophic 2-minute drill that lasted 38 seconds. Timeout Wisconsin, they're out of timeouts, but they're going to get the ball around midfield. 4th and 22, Michigan goes back 12 yards. They have 83 yards of offense in this one.
It's not a great look for the Michigan offense, not seeming able to get anything down the field. Isaiah Loudermilk has been a sensation for the Wisconsin defensive line. Able to get there, he's 6'7", 300 pounds. Able to just, ridiculously fast for that size. He's been able to just beat Michigan on this whole drive, get right through him, and Michigan hasn't been able to do anything about it.
So Michigan's defense now has spent a lot of time on the field in this half. Possession statistics as we most recently received them were 22-49 in favor of Wisconsin to 5-49 for Michigan. I'm sure they're a little bit less lopsided. We have some scores around the country to report right now. Michigan State leads Northwestern and Evanston 7-3. Indiana up 17-3. Those are our 2 Big Ten scores right now. A lot of Big Ten teams off this week. Not too many in action. Michigan ready to punt. Will Hart with his toes right against the back line of the end zone. Gets one off, kind of wobbly, and hops at the 47, picked up at the 48, and Dunn trying to find room. Doesn't have too much room to go, but brought down at the Michigan 43-yard line, and Wisconsin is already on the doorstep of field goal range.
This has been an incredible show if you're the Wisconsin fan base. Been able to get everything they want. Jack Cohn is 10 for 12 and already has 94 yards and looking like a pretty good quarterback over the proverbial dumpster fire that was Alex Hornibrook last year.
This new look Wisconsin team, they've yet to give up a point all year. They won their first 2 games that combined 110-0. They're up 21-0 on Michigan right now. How high can they rise in the rankings with the win today?
I think they could get as high as the top 7 if they really wanted to. Maybe in the top 5 if they continue to thoroughly dominate.
Number 10, Utah already goes down. Notre Dame likely to take a loss in Athens today. This could get out of hand.
This could get out of hand. I mean, if the quarterback shows if there's any signs of the quarterback being really good, this could look really good for the Wisconsin Badgers.
3 receivers to the left. Cohn throws to the short pass to Ferguson. Shakes a tackle, going downfield to the 25, and Wisconsin's already in field goal range. Took them all 6 seconds to get Groshek on the check down to escape. Cohn's had a very good day passing, not being asked to make too many difficult throws, but hitting them when he needs to. Maybe 1 or 2 bad decisions all game from Cohn, but he has been finding checkdowns and turning those into big yardage plays. On the doorstep of the red zone now, exactly at the 25. Groshek remains the running back. 3 receivers out wide to Cohn's right and 1 to his left. Michigan showing blitz with Uche. Only bring 4. Cohn doesn't have much time though. Takes off to run to the 20, 15, 10, 5. He's going to have to dive, and he gets into the end zone for a Wisconsin touchdown. A 2-play touchdown drive that went 42 yards, and that's still their second shortest touchdown drive of the day after Jonathan Taylor was off to the races for a 72-yard touchdown. 27-0 here in Camp Randall. 57 seconds to go in this half. It's not over yet. The game might be getting out of hand for Michigan, but the carnage is far from over.
It's crazy. My dad is now texting me saying, "On Wisconsin, on Wisconsin." I wish I could tell him anything positive, but hopefully Michigan is able to now not only tie the record but beat the record for the biggest comeback in team history.
Cruikshank dots the I as the kick is through. 28-0. Michigan's largest comeback in program history was a 28-7, 21-point deficit comeback. that they ultimately made entirely in the third and fourth quarter, won the game in regulation. So there's a precedent for that Michigan could have enough time here, but the defense has to show up. The offense has to have a pulse. 57 seconds for them to try to do something and get some points on the scoreboard. Maybe put that infamous 28-3 score up on the board. But right now they're in trouble. There's no other way to put it. The offense looks lifeless. Josh Gaddis might be the least popular man in Ann Arbor right now. They had one good drive going. Barani Bell could not quite escape for the end zone, and Ben Mason fumbled the ball from the 7. That killed their only potential scoring drive, and they have not crossed midfield since. As the Wisconsin fans now chant overrated here in Madison. I can tell you Wisconsin sure looks like they were underrated, as Cruikshank's kickoff would have been good if it would have been good for a field goal if it were 10 yards further to the right. That one lands well beyond the field goal post for an easy touchback. 57 seconds to go. Michigan has to try to advance this ball.
Michigan needs to show any life in the future game. If this is to be a loss, they need to make sure this is the only one. They can show signs that they are ready to move forward and show some signs that they can still move the ball on offense. Charbonnet has had one carry this whole game. He needs to show that he's still the lead.
Patterson in shotgun formation. 3 wide. McCune, the tight end, looking ready to pass block. Charbonnet to his right. McCune goes downfield too. Patterson hit as he throws and overthrows the coverage and Ronnie Bell. Patterson didn't have much time there at all.
Threw it in double coverage there. Not quite sure what Patterson was trying to do. I personally would have looked to check it down over to Charbonnet, who was over there.
Patterson is leaving the field. He got hit in the ribs. We know he's rumored to have an injury there too. I think this is just an injury substitution, but McCaffrey has entered the game for Michigan with a chance to try to take over the offense here. McCaffrey throws into coverage, and that ball is tipped. An ugly first throw for McCaffrey in this game.
The throw wasn't as ugly. The defense, he was right where it had to be. The
Bad
defender
decision.
had the ball on it.
It wasn't a horrible looking throw, but right to Chris Orr, who batted that one into triple coverage. Not a wise decision, as McCaffrey has been eager to get rid of the ball or take off and run when we've seen him this season in a quarterback. 3rd and 10. McCaffrey has the keys to the offense right now. 47 seconds on the clock. Wisconsin scored in 14 last drive, so let's see if Michigan can keep the Badger offense off the field. 3rd and 10 from their own 25. It is loud, and it's a keeper for McCaffrey, who is blocking downfield, but brought down at the 34. He is just short, and they're going to let the clock run. 38 on the play clock, and they're going to have enough time to run the clock out here and end this horrible, no good, very bad half for the Michigan Wolverines.
No good, very bad half indeed. There seems to be no life on any offense or on defense.
They have a chance here to snap the ball with 1 second left and go to the end zone. They could attempt that.
It seems to be what they're going to do, as Dylan seems to stay right out there.
13, 12. You could try for a pass interference. No, they still look confused, don't know what they're going to do. 6 seconds, they don't have time to get this play off. McCaffrey, his jersey got squished on that play. Looks like he's wearing number 12 right now. And that might end one of the worst halves of Michigan football in recent memory.
That's up there with the second half of the Ohio State game of last year. Michigan has yet to beat. Michigan has gone 14 games without beating a ranked team on the road, a top 15 team on the road, I should say. It's not looking good for the Wolverines right now. Shea Patterson seems to be hurt. Do you think Dylan McCaffrey is still going to be in the game regardless if Shea Patterson is healthy come next half?
Michigan can't give up on this game yet. They have to put their best foot forward. I do think they believe Patterson is their quarterback. But on 3rd and 10, they had a designed run from McCaffrey. I just don't think they believe in McCaffrey to throw the ball right now. If Patterson can play, I think he will come back. But he has had a nightmare performance. 5 for 14 for 87 yards, 68 of which came on one throw, 1 interception, also taken a sack. Has -4 rushing yards in this one on 2 carries. 1 where he kept it for 6 yards, 1 where he took a big sack.
And one of those plays was off a zero to Ronnie Bell. I think was like 60 yards.
68 yards was the play.
So we said, besides that, say that ball was 12 yards. That's something like 45 yards he's thrown all game.
Yeah, outside of that one throw, he only has.
Did not come out really ready to play. and that has been a major issue. A 6-yard chunk gain, and already the offense moving a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many yards were compiled in the first half, but you got to encourage based on what you've seen to start this half, and obviously there's a lot of work to do, but it's about stringing good plays together at this point and just seeing what happens.
And McCaffrey in the shotgun takes the snap. He's going to fire across the middle, looking for McCune, and goes off his hands and incomplete. Not sure if a defender.
Reed on that throw, trying to go outside it. Tariq Black had McCune over the middle. So bring up 4th down now. 13:33 left in the 3rd quarter.
And so out comes the punt team. Well, Michigan in that first half gained under 100 yards of offense. And so they get a solid about 20 as the flag is thrown on that. Not sure if that was Michigan moving earlier. As the punt lands inside the 10, it will roll all the way to the 1-yard line where Michigan will down it 2 in the play, though.
3 flags down now. I think every ref threw a flag almost on that play at different places on the field. Flags down in total, I think. So the refs are going to come together and talk about it, but yeah, I mean, all in all, I mean, it's an identity crisis right now for this thing. Offensively, I mean, you know, everyone criticizing the offense for the last couple of years under Jim Harbaugh and if it was going to work or not, so they go out and make a change, and you know, you go through those first 2 weeks and say, okay, you're feeling it out, you're still working through some kinks, you have a bye week, and then you have a press conference where everybody says that, oh, everybody's ready to play, and you come out to Madison, Wisconsin when the lights are shining bright, and you've got to really show what you've been, you know, what you've been selling to people, what you've been selling to yourselves. Hard line.
So now wait for the punt team to come back out there. We'll go back out. Cheeseman still the long snapper from the 46-yard line. It's a low snap and sort of to the right. A man comes in. And this one, fair catch, is going to be called for by Jack Dunn at the 15-yard line. So that ends up being a 14-yard difference in field position due to penalties and the retry on the kick.
We'll see if Jonathan Taylor comes out, but I don't expect him to. We did see him at one point in that first half.
And it'll be interesting to see Wisconsin's offenses here, right? You have to think they might just be giving it off and running the clock down.
Yeah, I mean, they have no reason to be in a hurry. I mean, they're Wisconsin, but yeah, they have no reason not to just try and milk the clock and just get out of here without getting any guys hurt. They are in firm control of this thing, and they don't seem too concerned about the Michigan offense right now. So yeah, they're just going to be trying to stall the clock and preserve this win, because they're going to want to. You kind of knew what you were going to get out of a guy like that, but Jack Cohen has really stepped up, and even over the talented freshmen they got to come. Graham Mertz, I mean, they haven't had a need for him yet, right? They have Cohen in there, and he's getting the job done. So that job is his for the time being.
So Wisconsin offense about to go back out there. One takeaway I had from that first half, it gets really loud here.
Yeah, this place has got the noise packed in, and I mean their speakers are loud too. Then they play some videos. That's some noise being pumped in.
Yeah, and it's not really the fans necessarily. It's the PA is loud. So breaks. Cohen under center. He's been under center every snap this drive. Waits to take the snap, drops back. Play action's going to roll out Taylor out of the backfield, and he bounces off Josh Metellus and out of bounds for a first down.
That's something that Jonathan Taylor has gotten so much better at and utilized as a receiver, and for such a big guy like him, and he's so fast too. If you're able to get the ball to him in a little bit of space to where maybe a safety is matched up on him, that is a match you got to take all day. They're a little fake handoff to him, but he's really just flashing to the sideline, and Metellus comes down to meet him, but Jonathan Taylor's just too big for one-on-one from a defensive back.
11:34 remaining, 28-0 in the third quarter. Cone under center again, and he's just going to hand it right off. And there's a nice little lane for the backup running back, Nakia Watson. We saw a bit of him in the first half once.
And on that play, Carlo Kemp got blocked back almost 10 yards from the ball's original position, got double teamed. I mean, the push that line gets is just incredible.
Well, one of the interesting things that we've been watching is the linebacker lineup. Right now it is Cam McGrone earlier. Josh Ross was in earlier. He had a hands to the face penalty. And now they're going to give it off to the side. Garrett Groshek is going to go past for a first down. That's a 7-yard carry. And they'll mark him at the 50-yard line, I believe. Move the sticks.
I mean, that defensive line is just getting absolutely no. The offensive line for Wisconsin is too big and too strong, and they're getting whatever they want. And as you mentioned, Wisconsin just content to take their time.
And they need coming on the field is Mason Stoke, and I don't think they're going to get a playoff in time. Huddling, 8 seconds, 7, and Paul Christ will take a timeout. 10-19 in the third quarter, 28-0, Wisconsin on top.
But I mean, that's been the thing that's been evident, for especially the last 2 weeks, is that the Michigan defensive line, you can get push on them. I mean, Army did it.
Yep.
Wisconsin's doing it, and that was obviously a question coming into the year: is what would the defensive line look like without Gary, without Winovich, and it's looking like something that other teams are going to take advantage of. And in the Big Ten Conference, you can't hide from teams running the ball. That's what teams are going to look to do first and foremost. So many good running backs in this league.
Quarter, both teams huddling. It'll be 1st and 10, Wisconsin out of the timeout.
From midfield.
They've got the stripe out today here in Madison. You've got the red stripes followed by the white stripe, and then the student section, which is in the south end zone, is all white.
It's a pretty clean look for the stadium.
Yeah.
Pretty good look for Camp Randall. Very filled to the top with people.
Really the only people who aren't following the stripe out are the Michigan fans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much uniformly white and uniformly red in every section. The place where it's not really is some of the white sections. You have tiny smatterings of red, but the all red sections are pretty much all red. And you got stripes going on. As this is a long media timeout.
Yep. Yeah, it is, and I mean, Wisconsin, though, they're in no hurry. They probably don't even have much to talk about, honestly, in a timeout like that. And they're just sitting around tossing the ball, and they're going to come out and do the same plays they've been doing all day.
Cone right now is sitting at 12 of 14, 117 yards. Taylor, 14 rushes for 161, of course, the 72-yard touchdown. The big story, he has 2 touchdowns himself. 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Wisconsin, Cone is just going to hand it off up the middle, and a nice surge forward for about 3.5 yards by Jonathan Taylor. And that's something we were talking about privately in the first half, is his phenomenal ability to grind out yards even when there aren't holes.
You compare it to Ezekiel Elliott, where he's able to take a hit, have to tackle a guy like him from the waist down, and he's able to take those hits and almost roll off them and always fall forward, something that Dexter taught how to do, and Jonathan Taylor no exception.
So now in the shotgun is Jack Cone. Ferguson moves over behind the formation. Another timeout taken by Paul Christ, I believe. That's now 2 timeouts in about a minute. The previous one taken at 10:19. This one coming at 9:40. 1 play in between the two.
Well, I mean, if you're Michigan, you better have a plan coming out of this timeout on how to stop a play and at least give yourself a chance on 3rd down. But I mean, I'm not going to speculate any sort of comeback in this game, but should it come to it, you know, Wisconsin could regret using 2 timeouts basically on back-to-back plays at the beginning of the 3rd quarter.
I mean, the thing we've been talking about is the odd alignment of Michigan's defensive line because, you know, Wisconsin's a team that is just going to hammer it forward, and everyone knows that. And Michigan has rarely been going with more than 4 down linemen, and some of those down linemen have been Jordan Glasgow, a linebacker who is undersized for a linebacker. I mean, Glasgow is 6'1", 226, and that's one of your down line. Yeah. Well, and one of the storylines to talk about is the fact that right now Wisconsin has now just passed 27 minutes time of possession. Michigan has 8:42. That is a 3-1 outnumbering in time of possession. Just ghastly, as there's a give up the middle. A nice job bouncing around some tacklers was Cup running back Garrett Groshek. There is a flag down in the vicinity of where you would expect holding. There has not been a holding yet on Wisconsin. We thought there was going to be one earlier, but it was defensive hands to the face. That one is assessed. It goes on number 70. That's the right guard, Josh Seltzner, a redshirt sophomore from Columbus, Wisconsin.
Well, and as we've mentioned, that's usually kind of play that could kill a Wisconsin drive, although Wisconsin's runs have probably been averaging more than 5 yards to play in this game easy.
6.7.
So, I mean, maybe it doesn't even apply in this game, but now's the time where you have to make sure that they don't get a chunk play here.
Yeah.
And you force Wisconsin into a down that they have to pass, because hasn't happened very much, and when Wisconsin has been passing the ball, it's been off play action.
And so now they'll set up at 1st and 20 from the 47-yard line. Need to get to the 27. They'll just give it off, and there's a big hole out to the right side. It's Garrett Groshek. He has a nice. He's down to the 25-yard line. That's a gain of 22, and Groshek, a backup who's closer to a fullback. He showed acceleration there.
Oh, he did more than that. He just burned off a 25-yard run.
Yeah.
Easy, and right after a holding call where you get set back 10 yards, I mean, the inability to stop the run is just going to kill this Michigan defense.
Yeah. And so now Wisconsin will set up from the 24-yard line, and this is where you could almost feel comfortable not even playing Taylor much in the second half when guys like Groshek are getting so much. There's a flat complete to Jake Ferguson. He's down to the 14-yard line in the flat. Nice delivery from Jack Cohn. That'll be another Badger first down and right fence with 7:37 to go in the third quarter. And again, this drive has already eaten 6 possession.
And Wisconsin's doing literally whatever they want, whenever they want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, as you mentioned, we've talked about it. They don't need Jonathan Taylor the rest of this game. He can go take a shower right now if he wants, and they'd be fine. They
now got Nakia Watson in the backfield, going to bring Ferguson to the right side, 2 tight ends, and he's just going to hand it off. Watson, big hole, looked like he might have bobbled it slightly, but he gets brought down. Carlo Kemp in that vicinity, but great push continually on the interior. And that'll be a gain of about 5.5. Ball marked on the 8-yard line.
We had the stat for yards before contact on some of these running backs, you know?
Right.
Just how it's not even been hard for them to run.
Well, and early in the game, Michigan was well in the middle. They were getting burned on the edges, and now since that has happened, they've been blown up inside on almost every play. Now from the I formation, they're going to give it off to the fullback, churning his legs forward, and a great push will leave him just short of the 5-yard line. That's John Chenal, a sophomore. They graduated both of their main fullbacks from last year, including Alec Ingold, who had been the starter. Chenal now the nominal starter with Mason Stoke, who we've also seen a little bit of. Now 3rd down and 2 from the 5-yard line, and Wisconsin is taking 40 seconds off the play clock on nearly every play. I mean, you're approaching 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Michigan has run 27 total plays on offense this entire game. I formation once again, Cohn under center, going to bring a receiver right to left. Out, or is there going to be a review? Yep, it's going to be a review. Wisconsin's now crossed the 400 yards of offense threshold in this contest.
Plenty of time left as well. I mean, there's no reason. There's nothing that was like, you know, we talked about Wisconsin not needing Taylor, or really, you know, most of their skill position starters. Like, they can put their backups in and move the ball just as well.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing stopping Wisconsin from, who's not going to do it, from lighting the score up even more. And yeah, they're knocking on the door right here, about to make this a 5-possession game in all likelihood.
He stand and wait for this review to get done. I thought he certainly got to the first down marker.
Yeah, I thought especially with the ball in front of him, he did.
Both teams huddling on their respective sidelines, or maybe they're reviewing whether he got to. Now they say it is first down and goal. Ball on the 2.5-yard line, and that's where it'll pick up.
And at this point, if they just put Jonathan Taylor in, they want to boost his high stats. I mean,
well, he's on the field right now. What we have seen is he's being used frequently in the situations where they're trying to get to the edges. Groshek on this drive has been up the middle, but on that pitch play, they use Taylor to get to the edge. He's now the tailback in the I formation again. Bunch of guys in Wisconsin.
And he got met in the backfield and turned 3 or 4 yards.
And he flipped over onto his back.
And he was 2 yards deep in the end zone on that touchdown. These Wisconsin players, all of them, are just moving forward. They're not moving back.
And that makes it 34-0 Badgers. 5:13 to go in the third quarter. And they'll come out to do the extra point. Colin Larsh with Anthony Lottie as waiting for confirmation from the video review guy wearing the green jacket. And now they start winding the play clock. Larsh this season, perfect on extra points. 19 for 19. Snap out, hold is good. Kick is up, and it is right through. So he to 20 of 20 for the year on extra points. And it's 35-0, 5:13 remaining in the third quarter.
And the Wisconsin student section just chants overrated, and they're not wrong, honestly, right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team that was picked to win the Big Ten by the media. And, it's just all those lofty expectations and the rankings associated with it, everything, and it's just gone completely out the door here in Wisconsin, and it's almost like they're going to get on the bus, started back at square one.
84 yards in 13 plays. Dice remarked to you that was an Army drive earlier in the game. That was in the first half, and another one here.
Yep. I mean, Wisconsin is going to.
And now they got the T-shirt cannon going on as we have another 2-minute commercial timeout. We'll go through score tree. Tennessee trailing 24-3 at the hands of Florida. Boston College 24-13 over Rutgers after Boston College amazingly lost to Kansas last week. Alabama up to 3 over Northwestern. California 28-13 over Ole Miss. Ole Miss struggling right now. LSU 45-17 over Vanderbilt. Other Big Ten scores waiting for them to load. 31-3 Indiana over UConn, and that is, at the present moment, I will say the one good thing about today, no rain.
No rain, that's right. We've avoided it so far. I think tomorrow is probably when Madison's going to. Kind of like they got a lot of rain earlier in this week as well. So that time of the year in the fall when it's humid, it's cooling off, and just that mixture of air and weather creates those Midwestern thunderstorms.
Yeah, great. The answer to the question, a blowout football game interrupted by a rain delay. Got to dodge that here in this one.
Or for us being outside, I mean,
yeah.
You don't know what end of it we would have got.
Michigan softball finally underway in their exhibition game back in Ann Arbor. I guess there was some lightning going on there.
A lot of people wanted to hear us give, but we're here instead.
We were talking about this earlier, but through the 70s and 80s, they were not a big-time football program, but they are firmly a football school now.
Oh, they have a culture down. They have even gone coach to coach and done it. I mean, they've had new coaches come in, and they have maintained the culture that the old one left in place, and they have taken it almost to new levels each and every time, and they believe in who they are, and they do it very well.
And now Zach Hintz ready to do the kickoff. Back deep as usual is Giles Jackson. He will watch it go wide left of the uprights in the south end zone there.
Have the distance.
Yeah, good hearty kick from Zach Hintz. Will put the ball down on the 25-yard line. 5:13 remaining in the third quarter. Wisconsin 35, Michigan nothing. And it is still Dylan McCaffrey out there at quarterback. And he's got Christian Turner to his right. Turner's been with Zach Charbonnet, still dealing with injury concerns. They get lined up at the left hash. In the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Dropping back is McCaffrey. He's protected well. Now he's going to try and run. He's actually going to throw across the middle. Tipped off the hands of Ronnie Bell. Pass was behind him, but it falls harmlessly incomplete just in front of a Badger DB, Reggie Pearson, sophomore out of Inkster, Michigan.
McCaffrey got hit once again, square in the face, trying to make that throw, and a near turnover.
Well, he was well protected from his left side there from Runyon, but
when he
needs to get that ball out. They bring Ronnie Bell across in a jet sweep fake. Christian Turner instead goes up the middle for just 2 yards. And now it'll be 3rd and 8 from the 27-yard line. Clock ticks under 5 minutes to go, as he was really brought down by just a mosh pit. And they'll give the credit to Chris Orr, the linebacker, but 4 or 5 guys in on every tackle right now when Michigan hands the ball off. Wolverines now just 23 rushing yards on 10 attempts in this game. This will be only their 30th play of the contest in the mid-3rd quarter. McCaffrey shotgun, 4 wide receivers, drops back, got decent protection again. He's going to step up, he's going to try to run for it, and he's going to slide. They're going to mark him short because he started the slide early, but now a flag comes out saying he was contacted by the Wisconsin player, perhaps in the area of targeting or unnecessary roughness on a sliding quarterback. It'll be interesting to see if they stick with this flag call. If they do, it's a Michigan first down. If they don't, it's another 4th down in a punting situation for the Wolverines.
See, but that's the kind of run where at this point in the game, you gotta lower your shoulder and try and run through somebody.
And they are saying after the play was over on sportsmanlike conduct, that'll be 15 yards from the 34-yard line, so the ball will be placed just in front of midfield.
Yeah, I mean, very lucky there on the slide, but you slide short of those sticks, and if you're gonna step up and run at this point in the game, you gotta try and run through.
Got to dive, lay out for it. And they are blowing things dead. I don't know if it's an issue with marking the ball. And now they're going to review it for targeting. We will go into a video review.
It's probably just wasting everybody's time.
Once again, the game recap at this point. 406 yards of offense for the Badgers, 126 for Michigan, nearly a 300-yard differential there. And we just get a clarification that they are looking at targeting. Pass yards 128 to 96. That's pretty even. Wisconsin the small edge. But the titanic story of the game, 278 rushing yards for Wisconsin, just 30 for Michigan. And you go down the list, Dylan McCaffrey, the backup quarterback now, has the longest run of the game for Michigan and the most rushing yards with 16 compared to the Heisman hopeful Jonathan Taylor at 177 for the Badgers. He has the most rushing yards in history of any player through their first 2 seasons in FBS football, passing Herschel Walker. And he's trying to get that Heisman in the 3rd season, likely a first-round pick in the NFL draft. And, I mean, watching Taylor compared to the Michigan running backs, I mean, it's been like watching Barry Sanders against Peyton Manning running the ball.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor has been a special talent since the day he stepped on campus in Madison. And I think everybody's known that, especially in the Big Ten. But this year, he is really taking it to another level, which is, after his freshman season especially, I don't think a lot of people knew how much better he could get.
And now they are going to issue an ejection on targeting. Eric Burrell has been thrown out of the game for an illegal hit to the head of Dylan McCaffrey after the play.
See, and that's a tough break for the Badgers in a game like this, because now he's out for the first half of next week as well.
That's a game at home against Northwestern. So Michigan gets the ball on the 49-yard line. It is their own 49, still on the left hash, just adjacent to the red Wisconsin W in the midfield. McCaffrey still out of the shotgun. He's been that on every play this series. Charbonnet to his right. He'll give it off to the freshman running back from California, and he goes forward for about 3.5 yards. Charbonnet now only his 2nd carry of the game, 2 carries for 6 yards. As the clock ticks under 4 minutes, 35-0 Badgers on top. And Michigan trying to go hurry up here. They're lined up ready to go at 25 on the play clock. the crowd still animated about that targeting call. You could hear the boos to our left on the photo deck. Charbonnet moved to the right side of McCaffrey. 3 wide receivers, and McCune just offset from the formation. McCaffrey well protected. He's got all day to throw. Going to fire underneath, complete to Ronnie Bell. He dances around a couple Badgers and then gets spun down at the 35-yard line. That's a nice pitch and catch to the sophomore receiver out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, Wisconsin only sending 3 guys that time. Great protection. McCaffrey having all day and just dumps it down to Ronnie Bell. And Ronnie Bell's playing hard right now. It's a great sign right there. Good job after the catch, making a couple moves and getting the first down.
Yeah, Ronnie Bell now over 75 yards receiving. He's a bright spot, maybe the only bright spot for Michigan in this football game.
Yeah, probably.
McCaffrey now has completed 2 passes, 2 for 6. He's still in the shotgun. Play action to Christian Turner. He's looking down the field, trying to pull the trigger. Now he does in the area of Ronnie Bell, but it's going to fall incomplete to his left side. It was actually closer to the Badger DB, Reggie Pearson, than it was to the receiver, Bell.
I mean, Ronnie Bell stopped running, it looked like, and McCaffrey just threw it up there. Ronnie Bell's not really a jump and go get it kind of guy. I think what Ronnie Bell was expecting was him to throw it underneath, and maybe he just pulls back a little bit to go make a play, but instead McCaffrey tried to throw it over the top.
Well, you'd kind of want Nico Collins to be the jump ball guy standing at 6'4". Bell quite undersized compared to Collins, and now it's a wheel route, firing complete to Sean McCune, and past the 20-yard line, out of bounds at the 18. That's a nice pass, over the shoulder catch by McCune on 2nd and 10 there from McCaffrey. They get the first down inside the 20, ball marked at the 17, and the Michigan offense now into the red zone for only the 2nd time today.
It's a very tight window to throw into, and McCaffrey able to complete a pass like that. It's the 2nd time that he's done that today.
1st and 10, it is going to be a QB keeper. McCaffrey's going to run for it. Oh! And he just got demolished, a hit to the head. This is probably going to be a 2nd targeting on the Badgers. Flags coming out from everywhere, and you'd have to think McCaffrey might go into the concussion protocol after getting his head just taken off there. He's laying motionless down on the field, and trainers are all coming out. This is an unfortunate scene as the clock stops with 2:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. Still 35-zip. Wisconsin on top on WCBN Sports.
Well, that's the same end zone that Brandon Peters got demolished a couple years ago. And, McCaffrey just got cleaned. He jumped in the air, and he just got teed off upon. I mean, his head just got hammered on that play. That is an obvious targeting call. But he's got to be done for the day. There's no way they can justifiably put him back in this game.
We haven't seen a replay yet, but I think it was Reggie Pearson, the one who made contact. If it is him and he is ejected, the Badgers will be down both starting safeties for the first half of next week's game against the Wildcats. Again, we have to see a replay. Have not gotten one on the Jumbotron. We don't have the privilege of a small view where we are stationed here at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin. As the referees confirm,
I feel like that should be as obvious as it gets.
Yeah, they're not showing it on replay.
But, just when McCaffrey is starting to get a little rhythm, too, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
It's knocked right out.
That's it's a hit reminiscent of Vontaze Burfict.
And Joe Milton is actually around the quarterbacks right now with his helmet on.
Well, I don't think Shea Patterson's going to come back into this game. That would be my guess at this point in time.
Yeah, I think this could be interesting to see Joe come out.
Patterson 5 for 14, 87 yards and an interception. McCaffrey 3 of 8, 40 yards. And they do indeed confirm it, and it is Reggie Pearson, number 2. So, as we said, the Badgers now down both starting safeties for next week's game against the Northwestern Wildcats here at Camp Randall Stadium.
Yeah, and I don't know what the fans are booing about for this one. I mean, that one's about as obvious as possible.
Yeah.
The first one I get. The first one I would probably disagree with that first targeting call a couple plays ago, but that play right there was about as blatant as it gets. And actually, Shea Patterson is in at quarterback.
It is Shea Patterson. Interesting wrinkle in this game. 2:22 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Michigan trailing by 5 touchdowns. Patterson gives it off to Christian Turner. No, he'll keep it himself. Looking. Pressure starts to come. He's going to roll over to the right. Still looking. Fires end zone. McCune. Did he get a foot down? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Michigan. That one's certainly going to be reviewed in the corner. Tough to see, but for now it stands as a touchdown. to the tight end from Massachusetts.
Keenan's limping a little bit too. He's being helped by Runyon actually leaving the field.
Well, he went over into that corner where the cameramen are. Now we've got the replay on the big screen. Let's take a look. It's a fire to the corner of the end zone. Did he drag the foot? Oh boy, that's close.
Oh, and it looks like
he tried to prevent himself from hitting the cameramen, and he landed awkwardly on the left leg. The knee buckled.
And he's down. He's down now on the Michigan sideline. Yeah, his knee definitely buckled on that play, and he's laying down on the Michigan sideline.
Well, and now this drive is taking a long time. We've only had about 3 minutes of game time, but
it's taking its toll on both teams now.
Yeah, almost
2 injuries now for Michigan and 2 ejections for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And you know, at this point in the game, said victory is very, very, very improbable for Michigan at this point. And you got to get out of here healthy. Like you and I mentioned, there's still a lot of football left to play this season. You got to get out of here healthy. In Wisconsin, you cannot be hitting guys in the head, no matter how close it is, because if you're Wisconsin, you need to take this win in stride and make sure that you don't mess up again, especially before that Ohio State game that could be pivotal. And you know, over the next quarter and 2 minutes, neither team can be losing guys.
Michigan's going for 2 here. 35-6 is the score, going for 2. Patterson drops back, got good protection, waiting, firing over the middle. It's caught, Tariq Black, and that is a converted 2-point conversion. 35-8 now, with 2:08 remaining in the third quarter. Michigan finally on the board.
Well, I mean, now it's going to be the same thing that's been all day, like the defense. Can they stop the run?
Yeah.
Can they get the offensive ball back? Probably they would have to get the ball back this quarter if they want a chance.
And the Michigan flag bearer is going across the end zone, and the crowd, a lively atmosphere here today.
So the first sign of life we saw all day from the Michigan offense, stirred by a couple targeting penalties, but nonetheless, Shea Patterson finds a way to get the ball in the end zone eventually. I wonder exactly how bad that was for Dylan McCaffrey, but it did not look good immediately after the hit. I mean, he was laying on the ground for a little while just trying to pick his head up, and he could not do it.
And now Jake Moody will come out to do the kickoff. Moody compresses the ball with his hands and tries to affix it to the tee as Michigan will get ready to do the kickoff. 35-8, Wisconsin on top, 2:08 remaining in the third quarter of this week 4 game, the third game of the season for both of these two teams. Moody from Northville, Michigan, replaced Quinn Nordine as the place kicker in addition to kickoff duties, as that one is a high spiraling kick. It'll land just at the 2-yard line. Wisconsin out. It's Aaron Cruikshank, and he gets spun around, and he falls down at the 12-yard line after, I don't really know how to describe that, just kind of spun in a circle.
Well, it looks like I think Dax Hill running upfield, whoever was blocking Dax Hill, I think ran into the return man and spun him around so that he got going backwards instead. And so Michigan has Wisconsin pinned back, but it's the same thing that we'll be talking about all day. Can they stop the run on this drive?
So it is a 1st and 10 Badgers. 13-yard line. They have one single setback. Motion of fullback to the right. Now it's a handoff up the middle, and managing to knife his way forward to the 17-yard line is Jonathan Taylor. That's a solid pickup of maybe 4 on the play. Cam McGrone bringing him down. McGrone, maybe the surprise story for Michigan, besides the surprise realization that the team did not come ready to play. But McGrone has had a really solid day. A sophomore from the Indiana area delivered a thundering hit at the goal line earlier in the game on Jack Cohn, and now he seems to have found a niche on this defense right now at the middle linebacker position. There's another handoff. Going to bounce it outside is Taylor, galloping around the Michigan defenders, and he's shoved out of bounds just past the 20-yard line. They'll mark it at about the 22. He'll need 2 yards on 3rd down to move the sticks as the clock ticks under 1:30 remaining in the third quarter.
I mean, 3rd and 2, same story all day. Can Michigan find a way to get a stop? And he's subbing out both of the defensive tackles, Donovan Jeter and Carlo Kemp. I mean, your defensive tackle by default now is going to be Mike Donna. This is just too easy for the Wisconsin
Well, now they
offensive
make
line.
a change, and they're going to have too many men on the field. Can Cone get the playoff? He can't, and so they're not going to be able to capitalize on Michigan's personnel confusion. They'll give it off up the middle. This is going to be a first down and then some. Pinballing around is Jonathan Taylor, and then again those beefcake linemen come up forward, be marked down at the 30-yard line. Clock now under 40 seconds remaining. They don't have to run another play in the third quarter if they don't want to.
It's all the confusion, and it still results in an 8-yard gain. I mean, yeah, you got to have your defensive tackles on the field on a short yardage situation. You get them back on, and I mean, they're nowhere to be found in A or B gap.
Yeah.
You know, just completely cleaned out of the middle of the field. Ambry Thomas was the one that fit in between the hashes on that play, and I mean, if you ever see Ambry Thomas coming, that's just too easy.
What is bizarre there is the miscommunication with the package where you bring, I mean, because they brought the third down package, which is Mike Dana, Kwity Paye, Hayden Hutchinson, and Josh Uche. That's 4 pass rushers. They brought them on the field, but on 3rd and 2, you know what Wisconsin's going to do. They're not going to throw it. And so then all of a sudden, they realize, oh, we got the wrong guys on the field. Then they try to bring the defensive tackles, Kemp and Jeter, back on, and they're just able to get those guys on only because Tyler Biotish, the center of Wisconsin, was not aware. Cone was clapping his hands, but unable to get that play off, and so instead they'll just settle for another Jonathan Taylor first down. Rough life being a Badger today,
yeah. I mean, yeah, they got more yards on that run than they would have the 12 men on the field penalty.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's at that point. And Michigan is, I mean, every team is going to watch this game and just realize that they can run in between the tackles at will.
Right.
Right? And especially if you get Carlo Kemp and Donovan Jeter tired, then just run it up the middle.
Well, the interesting thing for Michigan is that if you look at the remaining games on the schedule in Big Ten play, there aren't great offensive lines. I mean, Wisconsin is the standard bearer for great offensive line play. You think about Michigan State, for example.
Like Iowa.
Iowa, yes. Michigan State, though, not a team with a great offensive line, to say the least. Penn State has had some issues protecting Sean Clifford through the first 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting.
Well, right, but at the same time, pass blocking is a lot more challenging than run blocking.
That is fair.
And if you know, I mean, we're not going to say that Michigan's defensive line is good by any standard either right now. So you can just tell to go forward and block, then that just makes it so much simpler on life as an offense. So, you know, at the same time, yeah, but like down in a couple weeks, you know, you still got Ohio State obviously at the end, and you know those two teams are going to be more than happy to sit back and hand the ball off to their running backs and grind out yards. I mean, Maryland is going to play games with you, going side to side all day. I mean, they're going to stretch you out, running the ball with their weapons. And I mean, you're right. There's some teams that aren't going to really look to do that as much, but.
Now we wait in the layover between the 3rd and 4th quarters for the trademark Wisconsin jump around. And here we go. The horn sounds. And everyone begins jumping, the crowd going wild. The students particular. One of the great traditions in college football.
Yeah, I mean, Camp Randall is a phenomenal place.
And you can feel the feet, your feet on the ground starting to shake a little bit.
The players down there for Wisconsin are very into it, embrace it.
Yeah, if you feel a swaying ever so slightly in the ground.
Oh, yeah, you feel it. Oh, yeah. We're in a great spot for it.
Yeah, we
are.
Right
here underneath the press box. Fantastic spot for it.
Well, it is one of the things, you know, you could say as somebody who, you know, we come from Michigan, your inclination in a game like this is to regret you were ever here, but it's seeing these kinds of traditions that makes the trips worth it.
Right, and you're right. I mean, you have to appreciate what college football is all about at the end of the day, and that's the tradition. It's being a part of the atmosphere. It's about the people that you get to share the game with and cheer with, and yeah, you know, we're all supporting a football team on the field one way or another, but at the end of the day, those are you know, those kids still on the field are the ones that are investing their time into the actual game, right? They don't know us anything.
Yeah.
And And whatever they get out of it is what they get out of it. But the rest of it is just for us to enjoy and to appreciate that we get to enjoy college football here in America.
For the layover between the third and fourth quarter, Cone under center. He's just going to give it off to Taylor. He's going to try to bounce around as the up the middle was blocked, but he still gets 5 yards out of the play, staying patient, almost Le'Veon Bell.
He's just he's almost a perfect mold of like every running back. That you can. I mean, the patience of Bell, the ability to fall forward of Ezekiel. He's a good receiver. Just the power, explosiveness, everything. Even a blocking ability too. So, first round candidate for sure.
Shotgun formation. Cone brings cross, and he will give it off to Taylor. Again, very patient. He'll get pushed down after a gain of about 3.
It's 3rd down and 2 again. So, get off the field. It's plain and simple. 3rd and 2, you have to get off the field. Like when you've been getting bullied all day in someone's money just over and over and over again, eventually you got to stand up and say, no, this is my lunch.
Yeah.
You've got to protect what's yours. And we haven't seen that yet from the defensive front 7. But it's time to guard your yard.
So Cone under center, 3rd down and 2. Kemp and Jeter are out there. This is the standard down package for Michigan. And they're going to give it off to Taylor going up the middle. He's met right at the 41. He's going to be able to push forward, and I think they're going to give him the 1st down. Right at that line to gain. Now push out. Depends on when forward progress was blown dead. Michigan thinks they have it underneath the pile. I'm not sure I heard a whistle.
I mean, they were still fighting for forward progress.
And they do rule forward progress was stopped. The officials on the left and right side, they say short of the line on the left side of the field, was walking in about 6 inches to a foot behind the line to gain, and they are going to put it down at the 4-yard line. You have to think Wisconsin's going for it on 4th down, and they are winding the clock. 13 minutes to go. Or are going to punt it. Yeah, out comes the punt team from the sideline. And a long thought there from Paul Christ. He's not going to get this play off. There aren't even linemen down. 10 on the play clock, 5. And Christ is going to have to call this a timeout. 2 seconds, 1. That's a delay of game. Unless they are waiting for a whistle. That play clock had been expired for 5 seconds. Now they do say the flag. I've always been astonished by the lack of who just watched the delay of game. I've always felt there should be one referee who just stands and watches the play clock.
Yeah, I mean, the rule is that usually the way it's quarterback or the umpire behind the quarterback or the punter or whatever.
And now they're trying to get the play. Referees blow the play dead. The referee caught the snap in front of the punter.
There's something.
And they say that the ready for play had not been given, and they will redo it.
Normally
Still
the
4th
umpire.
and 5. Wow, the umpire there just steps right in front of the punter and intercepts the snap.
The umpire's supposed to look at the play clock, see 0, and then if the ball is snapped, then look at the snap. And if it's snapped, then it's not delay of game.
And now they do give it to Lottie, the punter. He boots it high and away. Ronnie Bell is going to try and run it back. He's at the 25 and brought down after a 2-yard gain. It will be Michigan's ball, 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line, give or take, after another media timeout. This game has really slowed down.
It's just become one of those games where you're just like, what's even going on at some points now?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Michigan has 12:46 left to make something respectable on the field happen. Shea Patterson. I mean, now with Dylan McCaffrey hurt, there's not even a question anymore that Shea has to be the guy.
Unless you're putting Joe Milton out there.
I think Shea's going to come back out here once again. The only things now that you can really do is say, like, we got to build confidence going forward. We have to do something that we can believe in. And
Michigan did finally get in the end zone on that last drive.
So, you need to make something more out of that. You need to get Shea Patterson more confident in this system he's in. Get him playing within himself and just move forward.
And so we will wait for this timeout in between the possession. You know, it's interesting, and this is a segue, talk about another topic, but as we look at the Michigan hockey season starting in a couple weeks, this matchup in hockey could be very fascinating because the two teams between Michigan and Wisconsin bringing in a combined 4 of the top 31 picks in the NHL draft. Wisconsin bringing in the number 5 and number 15 overall picks, Alex Turcotte and Cole Caulfield. It's going to be interesting watching Wisconsin hockey this year. A lot of talent.
And those have been some good games in the last couple of years as well.
Yeah.
That we've gotten to watch. So I mean, yeah, Big Ten hockey should be very competitive. Michigan's looking to bounce back. It was a pretty disappointing year, I think, by most people's standards.
Well, I think a lot of people underestimated the loss of Calderon and Danks and Marody, but it's a lot more of a veteran team, I think, this year. You have the Pastrov brothers and Becker as upperclassmen, Slaker and Lockwood as upperclassmen. You bring in some talented freshmen. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited for men's basketball starting up by the end of the month. That's when things really start to get fun in college sports. Michigan offense now coming field. 35-8, Wisconsin on top in the fourth quarter of this one. 12:46 remaining in the fourth quarter. Shea Patterson back out there. McCaffrey had been in the game, knocked out with a probable concussion, headed to the locker room after a targeting call. Patterson takes the snap. He'll throw it to Eubanks, and he might lose a yard there at the 26-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 11.
And Tariq Black just not getting a good enough block. Tried to run that play a couple times today. It has worked for a couple first downs too, but you gotta get that block, that key block on the linebacker.
Well, you want to beat in space. That wasn't it right there. That's just a little play to the flat, and after all the talk of offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis moving the team to a spread offense, we haven't seen much of it here today. Patterson drops back. He's well protected, going to fling it down the field in the vicinity of Donovan Peoples-Jones. Contact between him and the defensive back, but comes on in coverage there. Number 5, Rashad Wildgoose, the corner for Wisconsin.
And you're right. I mean, you go back to thinking about, Alabama with guys like, Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley, those kinds of receivers. I mean, how many times the quarterback would just take a snap and throw it to him? Just turn and throw, and let those guys literally go make something happen in space, and then let the defensive back tighten up, and then they just play games. And that's what I expected, but it has not been that at all.
Patterson in the shotgun, takes the snap on 3rd and 11. He waits. Great protection, throws in the area of Donovan Peoples-Jones, double covered, and that one complete. You see that Patterson, I mean, he's well protected these last two series. A lot of time to sit in the pocket and just not finding anything as that one falls incomplete. Michigan still sitting at under 200 yards of offense in the early fourth quarter, and the punt team comes back on out. Will Hart to do the job. Johnson 171 for Michigan. Wolverines still sitting at 38 rush yards. They didn't even attempt to rush on that series. Will Hart to take the snap, and he hits a long line drive punt as usual. Backing up the returner, Jack Dunn. He catches it at the 16. Gonna weave to the left side. Now try to curl back. Shakes 2 and then gets butchered down at the 26-yard line. And that's where Wisconsin will take over with a 27-point lead and 11-14 in the quarter. I hope they don't go to, oh boy, another media timeout. There might be 6 minutes of game time that's been played in the last 25 minutes of real life.
This is tough, man. But I mean, you and I were both at the press conference last week, and I mean, in my opinion, it wasn't a pretty press conference.
No.
Or 2 weeks ago, rather. There were some questions asked that I think were frustrating to answer for the coaching staff, but like in that press conference today.
Right.
And how do you answer those questions? You can't just say, oh well, we won, and that's that. Now you have to go out there and answer to a 5-possession game potentially.
Well, and I was struck by a sort of timidity from the Michigan press corps into the real questions. There was a lot of nibbling on the edges, you could say, in terms of the questions that were being asked to Jim Harbaugh about the offense, especially in a game like that where 3 times they fumble again here today. For those just joining us, 6 total now on the season after just 3 lost all of last season. And 2 of the lost were in a just dreadfully downpour game in MSU where the ball was slippery. I mean, when there was not downpour, Michigan almost never fumbled last year. And now there hasn't been rain once this season, and 6 fumbles lost. hard to explain sometimes. Be rebooted. But that's not what this is right now. Got any takes on Lions-Eagles tomorrow?
I mean, I think you and I were talking about this earlier, but it's impressive to the point where you have an NFL team canceling practice because so many guys are hurt, and that's the situation that the Eagles are in.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, how are they going to do?
They have no receivers.
Do timing-wise.
It's like Alshon Jeffrey and Djax are both out.
It's just
all alerts. So here we go. Fourth quarter underway. Jack Cohn starts under center. 11:49 remaining. 35-8. Wisconsin on top in this top 25 clash in the Big Ten. And there's a hole. Off to the races goes the running back down the sideline, and he'll be slung down at this 37-yard line there.
It's going to be Broderick Shaw.
Broderick Shaw, not even listed on our main spotting boards. They're just digging into the backups now.
That's an experienced guy.
Yeah.
Broderick Shaw. He's been around a long time, and now he's going to get his opportunity with this game well in hand.
Redshirt senior, just 2 carries prior to this. It's backup time in Madison. They do give him the 32 on that play.
Yeah, I mean, Broderick Shaw's a guy that's been around this program a long time. You know, he's never been the featured guy, but he stayed patient, and now he's going to get his chance to get some carries late in this game.
Cohn gives it off, and a nice run up the middle. Broderick Shaw down to the 25. That's a 7-yard carry on first and 10.
If the Michigan defense thought it was going to just get easier as this game went on, I mean, now you put guys in that really want to run hard for Wisconsin. You dig into Broderick Shaw,
yeah,
and that guy's going to run as hard as he possibly can for the next 10 minutes and 45 seconds.
Jonathan Taylor, 23 carries, just over 200 yards. He presumably is done.
They have no reason to put him in.
With a 27-point Wisconsin. Cohn under center. 5 men on the line, couple tight ends. They move one across bone formation, and Broderick Shaw, nice patient running there, and he'll get brought down at the 21 after a gain of 4, and that is a Wisconsin. Just got tossed down to the side there. Once that play was done and the Wisconsin fans wanted some flags, there's been a bit of extracurricular activity this game.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Michigan player, I don't really know what you're going to be talking trash to Wisconsin. You know, I mean, Wisconsin's dominating you in every phase of this game.
Yeah.
I don't really know what you would say to them that would rile any sort of reaction.
Cohn under center. That's where he's been most all of today. And we have a false start, as it looks like the Wisconsin lineman a little jumpy there. Not sure who it's on. Looked like the interior of the line. They put it on 78. That is the redshirt senior left guard, Jason Erdman. Wisconsin starting 5 native Wisconsinites on the offensive line today. One of the great factories in college football, the offensive line factory at the University of Wisconsin.
It's like the Cowboys right now, honestly. I mean,
yeah.
you can stick you back there if you want, and you probably run for 5 yards a carry at this point.
Cohn in the shotgun. He's got a man to his left, and he's just going to give it off. Wisconsin content to run the ball and sledgehammering his way forward to the 21-yard line.
Nikhil Watson.
Yep. They've been rotating between Nikhil Watson and Broderick Shaw here on this drive.
And he gets all the penalty yardage back. So
2nd and 10.
5-yard run.
And now they have another substitution, bringing different backs in, mixing the fullbacks involved. As the clock ticks under 9 minutes in a 35-8 Michigan deficit at the hands of the Wisconsin Badgers. Michigan all 3 timeouts here in the fourth quarter. Badgers have burned 2. Pressure comes right up the middle, and a little screen pass deflected aside by Aiden Hutchinson as they were looking for somebody in the flat. 29, Braden Shepard, another name. He has no carries on the season prior to this.
Well,
that's got to be like third string fullback.
That's one that Aiden Hutchinson wants back. The ball was right in his hands.
Yeah. Big mitts up there, 3rd and 10.
So Aiden Hutchinson did a great job reading screen on that play, and ball hit him right in the hands, but couldn't finish it.
So shotgun for Jack Cohn. He looks over to the sideline, bounces around. And now he takes the snap. And pressure comes. He's going to get wrapped up and brought down from behind by Kalik Hudson. That is finally Michigan getting a sack on 3rd down and 10 there, so it'll bring out 4th down, and they are going to attempt a punt, or a kick rather. Colin Larsh coming on out.
Well, that's something that has been a little bit of an issue for Wisconsin, so at least try and maybe get that short away in this game.
Larsh this season just 1 of 3 on his field goals. 1 for 1 from 20 to 29, 0 for 1 on 30 to 39, and 0 for 1 on 50 plus. This one is a solid 48-yarder. Snap out, a little high. The kick is up. It is wobbling, and it goes off the upright, and no good.
Right there.
Audible dong right there.
Get another media timeout.
Yep.
So 7:56. Michigan's going to get
a short field.
Probably got 1 or 2 drives left for them.
You want to just find the end zone. I mean, because we think back to one of, probably before this, maybe the ugliest game in the Harbaugh era was the game in State College against Penn State 2 years ago. Michigan gets obliterated by the Nittany Lions, but they come back the next week against Rutgers. That's who Michigan has next week. And, they didn't finish the season well, but they played very competitive games against Wisconsin here. They played a game against Ohio State at the Big House they probably should have won. I mean, they came back and were competitive. I mean, you got to pick yourself up. And that game against Rutgers next week is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be a real test of character these next couple weeks, because Rutgers is a hard game to get up for a lot of the time. He's a very, very hard game to get up for, and then Iowa is going to punch you in the mouth repeatedly.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
I mean, Iowa is a lot of the blueprint that Wisconsin has, with a slightly inferior interior offensive line, better tackles.
Yep. They are going to get after you, and then after Iowa, then it really gets real. You have a road trip on the 19th to Penn State.
Yeah. You
get Notre Dame that will come to town.
It's a tough schedule.
You've got a lot of tough games in front of you, so if you wallow in despair after this game, then you're going to get just embarrassed down the road.
And so you got Sweet Caroline going on in the background. I mean, this is, again, it's a tough schedule. You got to be ready to play. And again, you think about this game, Michigan, they're still in the driver's seat for the Big Ten East. If they beat every team in the Big Ten East, they'll win the division. But that is a long, long way away versus what we saw today. And the adjustments that are going to have to be made during the week will be pivotal.
Shea Patterson, the offense, coming back out. 7:56 left in this ball game.
5-8, Wisconsin on top. They led 28-0 at halftime. Michigan got 8 in the 3rd quarter as Wisconsin had added a touchdown, and that's all the scoring. No points here in the 4th quarter. Wisconsin well into backup garbage time. Michigan, though, still rolling with the starters. Patterson in the shotgun. He's just going to give it off to Christian Turner, and pretty good push there from behind as the offensive line moves the pile forward to the 36. That's a 5-yard pickup. 2nd down and 5 upcoming. In on the tackle for Wisconsin was number 52, Chris Orr, a redshirt senior. He's been around a long time, and it's a veteran defense, even if they lost some important pieces, to get guys like Chris Orr to step in after you graduate impact players like TJ Edwards and Ryan Connolly. Patterson drops back. He's got pressure in his face, going to fire it down the field. Jump ball, Nico Collins caught at the 33-yard line, and he'll get brought down at the 28 or the 29. A flag was thrown, and now some words exchanged. We already saw a taunting penalty on Donovan Peoples-Jones early in this game. I assume it's a defensive pass interference. Or no, it's offensive pass interference. And they're going to move the Michigan offense back. Have to see that one on replay. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. 2nd down and 20. I have to say, offensive pass interference might be the most undercalled penalty in sports.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
with the amount of pick plays, especially, that are now run by offenses.
But, I mean, another point is that they finally thrown a jump ball to Nico Collins, and it's just not something that we've seen very often in this season.
It's an unwillingness for a guy with such a high catch rate and such good hands. The junior from Birmingham, Alabama, is tacked with the penalty, so Michigan now 2nd and 20 from the 21-yard line. They need to get to the 41. Patterson drops back, stunt coming in his face. He gets clobbered, throws it deep, looking for Tariq Black, jump ball, and it's caught. Tariq Black rips it out of the hands of a Badger defender in double coverage territory, matched up with Fayon Hicks there, and it looked like Hicks got inside positioning, but Black said, "This one's mine, buddy." And it's a first down. Michigan at the 47. They're trying to work quickly as we tick under 7 minutes, still trailing by 27 points. But a great catch from Tariq Black. Michigan finally showing the willingness to use those 4 verticals that we saw in week 1, doing it again. Fire over to Nico Collins, dodges Fayon Hicks. He'll fall forward for a first down. And Michigan, I mean, we haven't seen the 4 verticals since week 1, the first half against Middle Tennessee State. They go away from it, now uncorking it in garbage time, and they are moving down the field, 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line, trying to work in hurry up. 25 on the play clock, and Michigan ready to snap this ball. Patterson takes it. Pass protection applied by Christian Turner, throws deep. Nico Collins caught at the 8, and he'll be thrown out of bounds at the 3 or 4 yard line. He's just punting it up, and these star receivers coming down with it as the 6'4" big body target comes down with it. 1st and goal at the 4.
It's too little too late almost now.
Yeah, 6 minutes to go in this game. Michigan again up to the line. They snap it with 20 on the play clock. Pressure comes, fires, and in the vicinity of Nick Eubanks, and a late pass interference flag is thrown there. Have to see if it is indeed assessed. Looked like the man in coverage, Seth Currens, an inside linebacker. Or it's going to be a holding instead of defensive pass interference. They'll be half to the distance to the goal. That'll place the ball down on the 2. Michigan looking to punch it in, trailing 35-8, 5:52 remaining as the clock stops with the penalty assessed. Michigan trying to save face, now over 250 yards of offense compared to the gaudy 480 of the Badgers, but trying to put lipstick on a pig here. I formation. Patterson gives it off and met right in the backfield. A thundering hit coming right up the middle was the linebacker Zach Sanborn with the tackle. Looked like Baughan and Sanborn in on that one, and perhaps Isaiah Green May as well. Just thundering up the middle. Ball now placed on the 5 as they blew forward progress dead. 2nd and goal from that spot. Patterson in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Pressure comes again. He's going to step up. Pop pass looking for Eubanks, and it's incomplete. Now 3rd and goal. We'll see what the Wolverines dial up here as they got down inside the 5 and now have been stuffed on 2 straight plays after having 1st and goal from the 2. Hassan Haskins has been in the game at running back. He is to Patterson's right. 2 wide receivers. They bring Black in motion. Patterson drops back. Bull rush. They send the kitchen sink. He rolls out to the right. Still looking. Is he going to fire for the end zone? And was it caught? No, incomplete. Knocked out of the hands there of the freshman Eric All. And it's 4th down and goal from the 5. 5:06 remaining. Wisconsin defensive coordinator Jim Leonard really dialing up the pressure here on Patterson. It got to him. He rolled right and then fired an incomplete pass.
And a lot of pride.
And Michigan going to go for it.
A lot of pride in the performance that the Badgers have displayed today.
And they've only got 10 seconds on the play clock. Michigan's got to use a timeout, I think. 5 seconds. Patterson in the shotgun. Are they going to get this play off? 2 seconds. And they do just get the snap. Patterson drops back, well protected. He's got all day to throw. Rolls out to his right. He's at the 15, pointing at the end zone, going to throw, and it is caught in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. Donovan Peoples-Jones. And it is 35-14, Wolverines. And credit the pass protection there, the patience of Patterson to find Peoples-Jones in the back of the end zone. Zip it in there for the score, and I believe they will go for 2 again. Offense staying on the field. They went for 2 after making it 35-8. It was a completion to Nico Collins. We'll see what they look for here. 4:56 remaining. 35-14, Wisconsin on top. Patterson in the shotgun as usual. They bring Charbonnet on the field. 2 wide receivers to his right. Now they bring 1 across. They're going to play action looking for him. Patterson in trouble. 2 men on him. Fires for Eubanks in the end zone. And it is intercepted by Wisconsin. No real effect on a 2-point conversion. Touchback. And Michigan will kick off down 21. Interception there. Snatched down out of midair by, I believe, a 3rd-string safety. John Taricho.
Onside kick or no?
I think onside kick is pressing it. You got 3 timeouts, kick it deep, and then hope you get the ball back.
Yeah.
But Michigan now finally a little bit, and again, I think that drive is real evidence of the lack of aggressiveness on offense for Michigan. Finally just opening it up and throwing it out in the field, and they get some ball movement, get a touchdown, 35-14. And again, these are the types of lessons you can take into next week against Rutgers.
Yep. These are the lessons you have to apply all season long. I mean, if you're going to really be sticking with this offense, then you've got to know what works and what doesn't work, and you've got to take it forward in a positive direction. And we'll see if that can be done over the course of the rest of the season. We'll see what the questions are like in the press conference afterwards, and we'll see what the rest of this year looks like. But I mean, you got those receivers, and all of them were involved on that drive in some way or another. Tariq Black just wrestled the ball away from his defensive back. Nico Collins jumping over somebody, and then Donovan Peoples-Jones making a play at the back of the end zone on 4th down. You know, those are the 3 guys that need to get the ball, plain and simple. And you got to find a way to get in the ball where they can maximize their talent. And until we see them do that consistently, then Michigan offense will not be at its full capacity.
And so Michigan will be kicking off here, under 5 minutes remaining. This is, all things considered, been a pretty quick game. We're at 2:17 Central Standard Time. Game began at 11. Looks about on pace for around 3.5 hours. It just depends on how much it gets dragged out here in the final little bit of this contest. Wisconsin would love to just hand it off, get a couple first downs, let the clock run out, and this game would be over right there. They have done an impeccable job with time of possession. Michigan in total 15:44 time of possession in 55 minutes of football play. That is dominant effort in controlling the ball from Wisconsin. Michigan in total has only run 47 plays, 15 of them rushing. This has been a lot of passing, but it hasn't been very effective. 14 for 32, and we're going to see if there is going to be an onside kick or not. Jake Moody will do the kickoff. He puts the ball down on the tee. Looks over, and now they've got 2 kickers on the field. Nordine and Moody are there, and Moody's going to be the one to do the onside kick. It bounces off of Wisconsin. Man, it's now a dog pile. I don't know who has it. Michigan might have it. That was a tremendous onside kick. Josh Metellus is bouncing up saying Michigan has it, and they might. Let's wait and see. Official signal, and yes, Michigan's got it. They recover an onside kick. I mean, you can't draw it up any better than that onside kick.
Well, the 2 kicker formation, it's not one that you can pull off at very many schools.
Yeah.
To put it that way, I mean, that's one benefit to having a kicking battle. And yeah, I mean, Michigan runs it nicely, and Big Boy for Wisconsin just can't quite make the play, catching it cleanly the first time, and after that it's just a muck for the ball.
Well,
So
it was right at a Wisconsin man, and it took a hop that was tricky enough that it bounces at an odd angle to flex off his knee or elbow there, and then all of a sudden it's loose on the ground. Michigan offense will stay right back out there. Under 5 minutes remaining. 4:54, 35-14, Wisconsin on top. Patterson stands in, fires. I don't know who he's throwing to as it goes off the hands of that same DB, John Sturchia.
He's throwing off his back foot too. I mean, a stunt, and lineman coming around and right in Patterson's face. Off his back foot, throwing scared.
Yeah. And now Michigan, after throwing basically nothing vertical the entire game, is now throwing vertical on basically every play. Michigan gets ready to drop back. Pressure comes. Patterson's going to fire in the vicinity of Eubanks. Well covered there by a linebacker underneath. And now it's 3rd down. Got to go for it on 4th down, you'd think, right?
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter, I guess. But yeah, you've got to try and score points.
Patterson gets ready to drop back. Pressure comes, fires in the area of Nico Collins. That is perfectly played by the defensive back. Looks like Dayon Harrell making the pass break up, and now Michigan will go for it on 4th and 10 from the 44. Some miscommunication about who's supposed to be on the field. 20 on the play clock. Got plenty of time. It's going to be trips to the right side. A single receiver, Collins, to the left. Running back in the backfield for pass protection is Turner. Patterson gets ready to fire over the middle, complete. And it's Tariq Black. He's weaving around Wisconsin defenders. Now gets awkwardly
I think his shoe came off.
taken down at the 36.
Somebody else's.
Yeah, that's a Wisconsin shoe.
Yep.
Deron Harrell's shoe came off.
So, I mean, Michigan's still playing, they're moving the ball, but gotta go quick.
Patterson at the 36, under 4.5 minutes to play. Drops back, throws sort of in the area of Tariq Black, but Black was not really where that ball was going, and he tried to double back and then slipped.
Yep. Just the timing is not quite there. You know, I mean, Patterson's throwing to a good spot. Like, it's a good idea just to throw the stop right there and let Tariq Black try and make something happen with it. But if they're not on the same page, then
communication's been an issue.
Then it looks like a mess.
Second and 10 from the 36. Patterson in the shotgun, drops back, only a 3-man rush. Pressure starts to come, throws over the middle, complete, but not before a thunderous hit there. Bringing him down, Noah Burks on the hit of Ronnie Bell. It'll be 3rd and 7 now after a gain of 3. Michigan trying to go in hurry up. Patterson shotgun, man to his left in pass protection. Plenty of time. This one is picked up beautifully. Now a rusher starts to come, and he's going to be brought down. Tries to lateral it to John Runyon Jr. He fumbles, and then fallen on it by Ben Bredesen. Tons of flags are out.
It's gotta be a legal forward pass.
Yeah, can't throw it to that guy.
Jeez.
Football would be very interesting if you could just throw it to the tackle.
I mean, it was close to being a lateral, but that was clearly forward.
Yeah. Patterson, I mean, he had all day to throw there. I'm not sure if the coverage was just good. Oh, and they call it a lateral, so there is no illegal pass.
It's going to be like 4th and 15 now.
You got to go for it.
I mean, obviously. I think, what is that, 4th and...
The ball is placed on the 42. They need the 26,
16?
4th and 16. 3:30 remaining in the 4th quarter. 35-14, Wisconsin on top. Patterson in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Wisconsin only rushes 4. He's got time to throw, looking down the field for Nico Collins, and he caught it at the 18-yard line.
Are they going to go offensive pass interference here?
There's a flag in down. You have to think that would be defensive pass interference.
He loops back.
Let's take a look at what the referees say, and it is on the defense.
Okay.
I mean, this is, you know, this in many ways reminds me of the Ohio State game, where Michigan falls down big and just starts throwing it up for Collins, and he's just catching everything.
Just do it all day.
1st and 10 from the 19-yard line. Patterson in the shotgun. Still got Hassan Haskins to his left. He's going to fire, looking for Tariq Black in the end zone, interfered with, and he caught it. Touchdown, Michigan, in the corner of...
Okay, well, another onside kick.
I would have to think so. And they give the touchdown to Tariq Black. That's now 20 points for Michigan.
This is interesting now. .302 left in this game. Michigan has 3 timeouts left.
And they are going to review it.
I feel like that should be a pretty standard call.
Yeah.
Tie goes to the receiver and anything like that anyways.
In the corner of the end zone there, trying to see it on the Jumbotron, as Michigan now has stormed to score 2 touchdowns. And the funny thing is, in theory, you could kick it off, spend your 3 timeouts, have them punt, get the ball back.
Well, I mean, what are they averaging now, rush yards wise?
Wisconsin is at 6.8 yards per carry.
Your best bet is the onside kick again. I mean, I feel like your best bet, if anything just miraculous were to even think about being happen, would be to get 2 onside kicks again.
And I'm not sure how there wasn't a pass interference on that play. The Badger DB all over Tariq Black as he goes to the ground. The ball, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, there was a very interesting overturn earlier in the game, so I'm not really a good arbiter of catch or no catch at this point.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what this is going to be.
And they are going to say it's an incomplete pass. And now it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 19-yard line.
All right. Well, but I mean, you're right about the comparison you made to Ohio State last year. It's
yeah.
The aggression now is just, you know, where has this been? Right?
Yeah.
Because this is when a defense also is trying to play like prevent, all that kind of stuff too,
yeah.
right? You know, it's not like they're just stopping the run now.
Michigan drops back. Pressure comes off the edge, and the ball is loose. And they say it is a fumble. Wisconsin will take over. That is probably going to be another review. He had the forward pass going there.
But I mean, that's almost poetic for a play like that. I mean,
yeah,
you're missing protection, your quarterback fumble, and it's the same problem as been all year.
Well, if it is a fumble, that will be now the 7th lost fumble for Michigan this season. And Wisconsin now in a position to just hand it off a couple times. If you get a first down, the game then pretty much over at under 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that should do it.
Patterson was starting to wind up, and the referees are standing around. And I think Harbaugh perhaps wants a challenge.
I'm not sure
Let's
if
take
you get one. Nope.
And they do blow the whistle. So from the 16-yard line.
The turnover should have been confirmed anyways. They should have to review that anyways.
I formation, and it's just an easy give up the middle. And brought down at the 25.
So yeah, I mean, Wisconsin should wind this clock down pretty easily.
And
Michigan's
Michigan's going to burn their timeouts, but we have not seen any ability of Michigan to stop the run, even in obvious running downs.
No, I mean, and I feel like every down almost has been an obvious running down at this point.
Yeah.
Giving up first, 25-yard runs on 1st and 20, 2nd and 20, after holding calls, and
one first down will likely do the deal.
Michigan's got a lot of questions to answer. I mean, there's no doubt, there's no way around that. They've got a lot of questions to answer in the coming weeks, and their response is going to dictate the outcome of the season. Other games good tonight, though, are what, Notre Dame and Georgia?
Notre Dame and Georgia.
And Texas and Oklahoma State.
Well, the nice thing about this game being rather quick, we might be able to see some of the end of that game if we make good time on the highway. I formation on the 20-yard line, and there it is again as a handoff goes right into the belly of Kalik Hudson. Harbaugh's going to use another timeout. It'll be 3rd and 5, but what we've talked about all day, right there, Carlo Kemp just runs 4 yards upfield.
And then the fullback just pins him to whatever side they are running away from. Yep, it literally allows them to just go to the next level automatically and to eliminate Michigan's sole defensive tackle, or at least one of them. Yeah, I mean, if you're Carlo Kemp, you've got to pick. You can't go a full game without picking that up. That they're just letting you run upfield. Like, you've got to come under control. You can't fall off the cliff. You've got to sit down, break down, and just make a tackle at the line of scrimmage. You know, you're not going to tackle these guys 4 yards in the backfield. They're too good. They're too good at what they do, and they're planning on you running right by them.
2:44 remaining. One more timeout to burn for Michigan. If it's a Wisconsin first down, the game is basically over. You can begin the kneel down process. But if Michigan stops them, they can burn their timeout and give one more offensive series. I mean, Michigan now at almost 300 yards of offense is a bit of a misnomer about the way this game went.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are not telling the story of this game.
Kalik Hudson now standing basically over the center, and they just give it off to the right side, and he's going to come up a yard short. Does the running back Brady Shipper, the running back there. So now Wisconsin will punt the ball away, most likely. A 35-14 Badger lead. .485 total yards for Wisconsin. It seemed like they were on pace for almost 600, and then they took the foot off the gas.
Yeah, they really took their foot off the gas. And
yeah, out comes the punting team.
Michigan gave them some room to work with as well. Or rather, Wisconsin gave the Michigan offense some room to work with, not getting that outside punt.
And they very quickly snapped that punt. Barely looked like they were set. Ronnie Bell is driven backwards on a nice punt from Anthony Lottie. He shakes one tackler now to the 30, going towards the sideline, and he's spun down at the 34-yard line. 2:28 remaining as this really fourth quarter has ground to a halt.
It's been, the time has just been trickling off the clock now after the first half kind of felt like a sprint in favor of Wisconsin.
Well, the nice thing about length of games when you have one team that's running every play is the clock just keeps going.
Yep.
And the first half really went by in a hurry, but this second half meandering in pace.
And Joe Milton's going to get some run here.
The third string quarterback out there for the Wolverines. 4 wideouts. Hassan Haskins still in as the pass protector. Milton sees the pressure come. He's going to roll out to the right, and he's just going to try to run it himself. He gets maybe a yard and goes out of bounds. Like to see him just fling it.
See the cannon. This guy can throw 70 yards easy. And that's from when he first showed up on campus.
Yeah.
Just got a cannon of an arm. I just kind of want to. I do want to see him just wind up and throw it down.
He has dealt with some accuracy issues, but arm strength not the problem. As Michigan not really hurrying much at all right now. Clock at 2 minutes as the snap is taken. Milton's going to step up. He's going to try to run for it himself, and he just falls down at the 40. Michigan not even trying to throw it right now. Milton's pocket presence not terrific right now.
No, it's all over the place right now.
Milton shotgun. 4 wide receivers still. 94 seconds left in the game. Bull rush comes. I think they were trying to set up a screen, and that ball is almost intercepted. Falls incomplete.
4th down. Just get the old arm punt. Just throw it 60 yards.
I mean, in this situation, you might as well just fire it down the field. You're not losing anything.
Yeah.
game was lost several hours ago.
Yep.
And the snap is taken. Milton stands ready to throw. Intercepted over the middle, picked off, and that will now be the second interception of the game for the Wisconsin Badgers. That counts. There was the one in the end zone, but that'll do it. $1:20. Wisconsin will do 2 kneel downs, and the game will end.
Yeah, I mean, just what a dominant performance by the Wisconsin Badgers. Just dominating every single phase of this game. The only time that they gave up anything that really wasn't something that they should have given up was probably that onside kick. I mean, otherwise they could live with everything. Just dominating every single aspect of this football game.
And now Jack Cohn should go out there to do this kneel down. It is going to be him. Michigan just running a guy on the field to have 11 for the kneel down. There's the first one.
Michigan's going to have to go look at themselves in the mirror long and hard.
It'll be a very interesting week, that's for sure. And how the team comes out against a very bad Rutgers team is going to be very telling.
It'll be interesting to see how many fans are in attendance at that game as well. You know? I mean, the Rutgers game is already a very unpopular one. and to think about it after something like this and after the discontent that's kind of been around for the first 2 weeks as well.
Yeah. And now 45 seconds on the game clock. Clock ticks down close to 40 seconds, and the snap is taken. Cohn kneels that one down, and the game is now over. Both teams will come out for the handshakes. Press conference will be interesting. Any last thoughts?
Be interested to see what team shows up for Rutgers. That's all I got to say.
Indeed it is. That'll do it for us. Final score from Wisconsin. Wisconsin 35, Michigan 14. For Daniel Thompson, Andrew Miller, Lucas Vargas, I'm Alex Strain. Good night, and go blue.